Yo,
Boom. Finally.
Microsoft Edge for the win. Who knew?
Yeah, I think I changed the setting too, man. I think I just allowed it so you could just bypass the lobby, so that's good.
Cool, man.
Awesome. Yeah, sorry about that. Haven't had that
No,
issue
dude.
ever.
All good, man. How you doing?
Really good, man. Really good.
Good.
Appreciate
Not,
you joining me. It's really good to meet you finally
yeah,
for the
you
first
too.
time.
Yeah, man. Same. I just
Uh,
saw your channel like a couple weeks ago, and I've been consuming your content, dude. It's kind of cool. Like once you start to like get to know other channels, like everyone's like, then you find other channels, and like this is cool. This is awesome.
yeah, it's you can get down a rabbit hole pretty quick. My name's
Hmm.
Josh, by the way. I don't know if I've ever said that in. I don't say it in many of my videos. You can call me Josh.
All right, mine's Joe. You can call me Joe. I don't same.
Yep. Yeah, so I had did the same thing. Like after we had talked on Instagram, I had kind of consumed quite a bit of your content. I went to the beginning. That's the
Oh
first thing I did.
damn.
I went to the beginning and started there, and it was pretty cool, man. Just to see, like, you're one of the oldest PokeTubers, technically, right?
Technically, yep.
You got some old videos. Like, what is it, like 9+ years ago or something?
Yep, I used
So
to have like a little Sony cam that I used to record stuff and then like take the memory card and like back
yeah,
when YouTube was in its infancy, yeah.
yeah,
Should
yeah.
have stuck with it. Who knew, right?
Yeah, it was pretty funny watch because those were the first videos I had watched of yours, and I obviously subscribed pretty quick, and I actually subscribed my wife's account, so you got two subs from me.
Oh,
So,
cool.
um, yeah, so, but yeah, I was watching it, and it was pretty funny just watching like the earlier talking like about submitting all these to CGC and stuff, and then fast forwarding to the new stuff. So we'll get into that, but
I can't wait.
uh,
I'm on a CGC tear. I can't wait. Fucking CGC.
we won't bury them too bad, but we're not sponsored here at all, so.
Oh, you're not Squeaks?
God loves Squeaks. I give him credit, man. He's getting paid for it. So, but it's
Well, I liked CGC. I had my issues with them. We'll get into it. I had my issues with them, but a lot has happened in the last month that
yeah,
has really turned my opinion of them to just garbage now. Like
yeah,
they've done some shady business practices that I just don't agree with. I just don't agree with. I have like a 35 response chain letter going back with their between their customer service and their accounting department. Like I just keep I blast them every day. I light them up with an email every day because I'm pissed at them. I'm really mad at them.
yeah,
Um, yeah.
yeah. So let me just do some introductions. I think I'm recording already, so
Okay,
that's
cool.
which is good. But yeah, I'll upload this tomorrow. So it'll be live on the channel probably 11 a.m. Eastern time is usually what I'll
Okay.
do it. So, like I
I'll
said,
just I'll just ask real quick. Do you mind if I do the same to my channel? Like, could
yeah,
cause
I will send you like a OneDrive link so you can just
okay,
download it,
that
and then
works. My
yep,
mom watches all my videos, but she only follows me, so she only knows how to go to mine. She's
yeah.
really old, but she loves
That's
to watch all my videos.
That's awesome, man. My mom doesn't have internet right now, so she's one up on. I don't think my mom would know how to navigate through YouTube, so that's still pretty impressive. Um, yeah, not a problem. We'll get that set up for sure.
Cool, cool.
Um, yeah. So I am Josh. I've been doing this probably since only the most recent stuff. I'm just noticing I don't have like any Pokemon in my background. I need to.
Oh yeah, I just noticed that too. Yeah, it's all
There's
good.
like one. There's a one brush fire box down there, but I pretty much I dabble in everything. So been doing Pokemon for a little over 2 years, maybe almost 2 years now. As far as the collecting, but obviously I played and collected way back and played with the games, played the trading card games, some actually like a little bit, not as competitively as you did at all. I would have got my cheeks clapped. Um, but I basically collected cards, and then my parents threw them away because I was a bad kid.
Oh,
So I lost all my childhood
that
cards except for
sucks.
one Charizard. So and that was in like a one tap magnetic case that just stuck in my drawer for my whole life. So it's been been pretty sad, and just collecting tons of different stuff. Zapdos cards, first edition base, and I like Shadowless, and pretty much went to that. Made a bunch of binders. I got some binders that I did, but I recently
Cool.
tore them apart, so it's more going towards the graded cards. But I also know the TCG, can play the TCG. Went to a tournament a couple weeks ago,
Oh,
local
nice.
here. Yep, and did not do well. I know, like it's nice in Pokemon. You can pick up the deck. There's not that many different cards, so you can like Commander Magic. You got to read 100 different cards.
Yep.
It's absolutely insane. So Pokemon's pretty easy to pick up and run with it. But yeah, it's more here to talk about Joe, get to know you, and I know quite a bit about you already from the YouTube I've watched, but pretty much you've started when you're, I don't know, you had to be in your teens when you're doing the super competitiveness, right? Going to worlds and stuff.
Yeah. So, do you want me to just start? Like,
Yeah, I'll let
all
you
right.
I'll let you give the spiel.
So for those that haven't seen me or don't know, my handle is Echobase Collectables. I just go by Echo. Joe is my actual name for those that don't know too. So yeah, let's take it back to the beginning for a few minutes. So I was a freshman in high school when Pokemon came out. I was a freshman in high school, 1998. And I picked up the Game Boy games like everyone else. I got them for Christmas. Actually, I remember my first ever introduction to Pokemon was walking through the mall, going to the game stop at the time, or one of the games. Maybe it was EB Games. I don't even damn know at the time.
Bunko Land? No?
No, it was. I think it was EB Games.
Sure.
Yeah, and I saw the Prima Strategy Guide and I remember not knowing a thing about it, picking up the Prima Strategy Guide, looking at it, and was like, this kind of reminds me of like Zelda combined
Yeah.
with like a level up type game like Final Fantasy. And I was like, this looks pretty cool. And I remember picking up Red, like everyone, played through Red, loved it, poured so many hours into getting all 151 and leveled up to 100, like poured my heart into Red. And that was like my only introduction to Pokemon for a while. And then I remember, so I've always been a collector. I've
Yeah.
collected Transformers primarily since I was like 2 or 3. That was my thing. But I've always been like a nerd. It's weird because I also played football. I was varsity football, varsity wrestling in high school, all through high school. But I always liked sci-fi, anything like anime, sci-fi related. I was a huge nerd. I love that stuff. So I liked other collectible card games too. And I remember what got me into the card game was there was a baseball card collectible card store next to the restaurant me and my family would go to all
Oh
the
yeah.
time. And on like a Friday or Saturday night, I would pop in. Like we would go, and I'd be like, "Dad, I'm gonna run into the card store real quick." And I remember going in and seeing. I was like, "Oh shit, there's Pokemon cards!" Like for that game I've been playing for the whole year. So I was like, and I'll never forget.
Uh-oh.
First set base first edition packs were $11. $11. Unlimited was like MSRP at the time, which was like 329, I think at the time. And I remember like first night in there, a guy was standing at the counter ripping packs until he hit cards he wanted. And I remember asking him like, what is this? Like the card store owner told me all about it. And the guy's like, I'm looking for a Zapdos. It's the last card I need. I'm looking for Zapdos for my son. And I'm standing there. He must have ripped a box and a half as I'm standing there watching this guy just $11 a pack, just ripping cards. And he finally hit the card. So I was like it just consumed me. So I bought like 2 or 3 packs and I hit a Charizard.
Damn.
Base Charizard first 3 packs. I was so and then the store owner offered it was just unlimited. I couldn't afford first edition at the time. And the store owner offered to buy it for me like right there. I think he wanted to give me like $300 right there and I was like, "Well, Charizard was like my second favorite Pokemon at the time." And I was like, "I kind of want it. Like this is
Yeah.
what like." But then I wanted to get all the cards of like my starter team, like my team from Red, and I wanted to get all the like my favorite characters, which just obviously just led into buying more and more cards, more and more cards.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
all through high school, like about the next year, I'd buy cards here and there, here and there. I finally bought the 2-player CD-ROM starter set, learned how to play the game from that. Would make up my own decks. Thought I knew how to play Pokemon. Would make because I had all these cards, and I played chess too, so I knew how to solo games. And I didn't like have a lot of friends. Like I didn't even though I was like into sports and everything, I didn't hang out with a lot of those guys
Yeah.
outside because they didn't have the same interests as me. So I would like stay in my room and I would solo games myself. And then it finally I started to look into like how to play this game. And I Googled it and yeah, Toys R Us League. One Saturday afternoon, went over to Toys R Us League, met a bunch of people. That was a shitload of fun. Ended up meeting my friend group that lasted for the next 12, 15 years. We remained friends. We met at the Toys R Us League. And that league finally migrated over to the mall. And there was a Wizards of the Coast store at the mall, like an actual
Oh,
Wizards of the Coast store back in the day. They had one in the mall.
yeah.
It was awesome. League lasted there for a couple years until the Wizards store shut down. Um, right around the time when I think it was open a little bit after Nintendo took over, but pretty much around that time's when the Wizard store shut down. And our Pokemon League, at this time, I was the gym leader. I was the gym leader of the league because it was me and like my five or six friends at the time, and like two of
Just
us were,
wrecking kids.
yeah. Well, like, yeah, no, like we stuck to ourselves. So, like, the older kids played the older kids. We were the
Okay.
gym leaders. So, if the kids challenged us, we had to play them. That was the rules at the gym. So,
Oh wow.
yeah, that's the way it worked. It's like you got double points if you played a gym leader. So the kids would always want to play us, but obviously we're older, so we knew like older people's brains are more developed, obviously. So we just
So
understood strategy better.
yeah. So could you net deck back then, or were you guys just like
No,
building your
no.
own decks?
We were building our own decks. There was like I remember finding Pokemon Zeo. The two main websites at the time were PokeGym, which I'm going to get to in a sec, and Pokemon Zeo were the two biggest websites. And they had some articles on there. This is back with the Super Trainer Showdown, STS, East and West
Yep.
Coast were around. So I remember joining PokeGym, and that was like the haven for knowledge and information. And that's when like I wouldn't net deck, but it what they had was they had Deck Garage, which I really liked, which you would post a deck and people would tweak it here and there. And I got
Yeah.
really active on that forum. I would tweak other people's decks. Well, fast forward a little bit. I met up with Mike Martin. That league closed down, and we moved over to a town in Cinnaminson, New Jersey, where there was a church, and Mike Martin had a league there. Well, Mike Martin, if you don't know who that is, that's Pokepop. He's on Team Compendium, the rulings team for Wizards of the Coast. So it was him and three or four other guys, Big Daddy Snorlax, Pokepop, who were some of the other guys? Sensei, who used to run Pojo. He used to write articles for Pojo magazine.
Yep.
So
Very
like
familiar with
these
that.
were the guys that were like on the rulings team for card interactions, and the dude ran my league. So what happened was is I ended up being his head judge for like everything because I got really good friends with him and he needed judges. We would run all the East Coast regional tournaments.
Yeah.
And we're talking like get there early, set up all the tables. I would run all the tournament organizing software. Like I would check everyone's decks. Like I got really into the actual running of the events. So like every year in the tournament season, I would play enough to get my invite to Worlds, and then I would just help him run the rest of the events. I went to Worlds three times. Best I ever placed was top 16. I top 16 twice. Really fun, but this was back when like it capped out at like 250 players. But it was like the people that went were really good.
Yeah.
Like
Can imagine.
Ness, yeah, like there were some really good classic names that
Is
would
it
run
like
the circuit.
age? It's still like you're with like a masters league and like a younger kids league too, right?
hmm Yeah, so Worlds is broken into three age categories: 10 and under, 11 to 15, and then 15 plus. Um, so right around the time actually that Nintendo, so I went to Fan Appreciation Tournament, which was in 2003. It was technically Worlds that year, but it wasn't called Worlds. It was at Gen Con. So I went to Gen Con Indy that year. This was an interesting time in Pokemon. It was right when Nintendo was taking over, right when Wizards lost the license. This was right when
Yep.
Sky, you remember?
I've listened to this video. It's madness. Just definitely tell everybody though. It's crazy.
Yeah, so it's crazy. So Skyridge was the last Wizards set. So Wizards actually had the license to print two more sets. That was in the plans. They had a set called Jamboree, which was going to be like a completely 100% English original set. Safari Zone based. It was going to be like based around the Safari Zone Pokemon. It
That
was
was
called
sick. Yeah.
Jamboree. Yep. And there was another set they had planned, base set 3. No shit, right? Base set 3 was going to be a thing. And a lot of people don't know this. And Nintendo basically said, we don't want to pay you to print the cards anymore. We can do it ourselves. We don't really like what you're doing. You're charging too much of a premium, so we can just take this over. And they had studied. So a couple of the higher ups at Wizards jumped ship and went over to Nintendo.
Yeah.
And gave away some trade. So there was a huge lawsuit. This was bad blood. Wizards sued the shit out of Nintendo for insider trader secrets, and then they have the rights to the trading card game. Like, you can't print a trade. So end of the day, Nintendo had to give royalties to Wizards in order to make a trading card game, but it was not enough. It was still more profitable for them to take it over for themselves, but they pay Wizards in order to make a trading card game. So there was a lot of turmoil around this time because the rumors in the community were um, Nintendo was going to disallow all Wizard sets. Like, it was going to be a fresh start. Nothing was going to be legal. All of it was going to be exiled. We're starting with Ruby Sapphire, and that's the only playable set. That was the rumor. So when Skyridge released in like June, July, and then 1 month later, virtually at the same time, Ruby Sapphire dropped. So
Wow.
no one bought Skyridge in the community because everyone was like, yo, this shit's not going to be playable. Why would we spend our money on stuff we can't use? Because you have to remember, back in the day, there was no I mean, people collected because they liked cards too, but it was like 20%, 80%. Most of the people collected that played. So
Yep.
no one's going to buy a set of cards that you can't play with. Um,
Makes sense.
right. So at Gen Con, it was a blowout event. It was Wizards' last hurrah. They cleared out the stock rooms. They gave away everything they had in prize support. But more interestingly, Nintendo was there with their own booth, and they were like recruiting people to try to come work for them to run organized play, because Nintendo at that point had never run organized play system, and they had no idea how to do it. There
Yeah.
was 2 guys that worked for Nintendo, and they were in charge of organized play, and they needed people. They needed people that actually knew what the hell they were doing, and they actually wanted to recruit me for it. I went over and worked the booth the whole second day at Gen Con, and I got pretty close with the 2 guys there. It was Adam, and I can't remember the other guy's name now to save my life. Um, and like they said, like, like, let's talk about this. And we talked about it a little bit, but it would have involved me moving to the West Coast. And I was in college. I was like a freshman in college at this time, and I was like, guys, I can't do it. I'd love to do it. I'd love to come work for you guys, but I'm
Yeah.
pursuing a degree in computers, and like, it sounds like a dream, but like, I got some friends I hooked them up with, talked to a couple of my friends. I don't ever know what happened to it, but I was like, nah, guys, like, I'd love to, but I can't, guys. I can't. Um anyway, so that's where I got a lot of my wizard stuff. So like, I remember getting a case of a lot of different sets. A case of Skyridge. I remember opening so much Skyridge that I got sick of opening Skyridge. Like, which is why I find it hilarious today that everyone is like enamored with that set. I
Right.
remember, dude, and we all kick ourselves, right? But had I just stopped and kept a couple of those boxes sealed, like, like, that's what I hate about it. I physically remember, I could put myself at my computer desk in my room at my parents' house, sitting with a case of Skyridge next to me, opening this, going, I don't want to open any more of this freaking set. I'm so tired of opening this shit. Oh, another crystal, great. Oh, another reverse crystal. It's like, okay. Like, I remember I was like 2 or 3 reverses away from completing the set, and I'm ripping packs just hoping to get the 2 or 3 reverses I need just to finish the set. I was so annoyed with it because, and then the news dropped that it was all going to be legal. They weren't excluding anything. I think they did a rotation. So I think that's right. They did e-reader on. It was on. So it was Expedition, Aquapolis, Skyridge on. That was the new
Okay.
format. So it ended up all working out. So then what happened was, I continued to play for a little bit. Mind you, I was in college, and my friend group I went to a school in Upper Peninsula, Michigan, and there was nothing Pokemon related out there, nothing. So like, when I would come home for breaks and in the summertime, I would hook back up with my friends. I would run league. I'd go to Worlds in the summer. I would come home and like try and find like a gym challenge or a stadium challenge to get in on, to get my points to get to Worlds. So it was like a cram to get my stuff in. But I made it happen. I kept in contact with all my friends. Graduated college.
Michigan
Live
Tech.
Michigan Tech. Yep. Yep.
Awesome.
Do you know the school at all?
Yeah, I live in Michigan. I
Oh, you
live
do?
in an hour west of Detroit.
Oh shit. Yeah, I had a lot of friends in Detroit. Okay. Nice.
I
Cool.
just moved. I was like 15 minutes outside of Detroit, and I just moved in December. So,
What town?
I'm in Howell, Michigan.
I know Howell, Michigan. I know Howell, Michigan.
Yeah,
Yep. Nice.
yeah.
Um,
All my 90% of my coworkers went to Michigan Tech.
that's
Pretty
funny,
cool.
dude. You're the first person I've talked to in a long time that even knows who that school is. So
Yeah,
that's awesome, man. That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, it was 5 years in a frozen tundra.
Exactly. It's cold up there, bro.
It is. And you can imagine no one's playing Pokemon up in Michigan Tech, right?
I can't believe you can find cards up there.
You
Honestly.
couldn't. I had to order them. I was getting shit delivered to my mailbox in the dorm room and everything. No, I was collecting on my. Nope. I was getting. Well, yeah, I've been on eBay since 2001. I've been on eBay. I've had my eBay account for 25 years or 20 years
Wow.
now. So, like, because I said, like, I used to collect Transformers. So back in the day, I started an eBay account back when you could use money orders. You didn't even need a credit card to open an eBay account. You
That's
didn't
crazy.
need a PayPal. PayPal wasn't even a thing. You sent
No.
cashier's checks and money orders. Um,
Less
s-
scams then.
well, yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so I graduated and I wanted to get a house with my group of friends. Like that was my thing. Like I wanted to move in with my group of friends, and we did. And so it was kind of like some of my Pokemon friends, but then a couple people that were new. So it was like my one friend who had played with us in our group, but then it was his girlfriend and she didn't know how to play. And then we got this one kid to come down from Connecticut and he had nothing to do with that. But we all had a D&D game going for Saturday night. So Saturday night was our D&D campaign. It was like 7 or 8 of us. And we ran that D&D game for every Saturday night for like 5 years. But what had happened was is a lot of the people in D&D also played Magic. So I'm like, no one wants to play Pokemon, but everyone wants to play Magic. So naturally, I gravitate. I transitioned to
Yeah.
Magic because you're gonna play what your friends play. Like,
Yep.
no, yeah. So I only had money to support one hobby, so I switched. I stopped playing Pokemon in like 2012, right before Heart Gold Soul Silver came out. So my last set that I bought at that time was Platinum, Rising Rivals, and Supreme Victors were the last two sets I remember buying and then going to tournaments. And then I just kind of was like, I told Mike Martin, I told Pokepop, and he was actually kind of like sad about it because I was like, dude, I don't have the money anymore. Like I kind of like none of my friends play anymore. Like it's just me and you. I'm just going to these tournaments just to run them, and I kind of lost interest in it. But we picked up Magic. We played Magic for a long time. Long story short, I had a falling out with those people. I stopped. I moved back home for a while. Met my ex-wife now. Met her. We were together for 7 years. Always had my cards though. Always kept my cards. And my plan was she kept bugging me because we had an apartment and I had a lot of boxes in the living room. And I kept telling her like, listen, I plan to sell
Yeah.
my stuff someday, but I just need space. I can't do it in this apartment. There's no room. I gotta pull my binders out. I gotta sort. I gotta organize. Like I got too much stuff. I gotta go through it. So I kept promising her, promising her, promising her, promising her. Well, a little over a year ago, we bought this house, and I'm now divorced. But we bought this house, and I started going through my stuff. And this was like maybe a month or two before Logan Paul. And I
Yep.
remember the first thing I did was I hopped on eBay and just did Pokemon completed listings and sort by highest first. And I was like, wait, what's a PSA? What are graded cards? I've never seen this shit before. My second thought was, holy shit, look at the prices of some of these cards. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I have that. I have two of those. I have that. Oh my God, I have that too. And I'm looking, I'm showing my ex-wife, and I'm like, this is a lot of money. Like I had no idea my stuff was worth that much. No idea. It had
Yeah.
sat in a time capsule for the last 7 years.
It's
Like I
awesome.
had no idea. So I started to look into. I was like, okay. I told her I was going to sell this stuff, so I started to look into like how's the best way to go about selling. But see, what happened was is the more that I quickly realized I got to grade my cards. Like that's a thing. Well, how the hell am I going to afford all these grading fees? Like this is not going to be a cheap endeavor to grade all this shit. I gotta make some money in order to sell my stuff. So the more I started to look through my cards, though, I fell back in love with my cards again. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is like, yeah. So I'm looking through all my old decks. I'm looking through all my stuff, and I'm like, yo, I don't want to sell these, but I really want to show people my collection. Like, so I started my YouTube channel back up. I actually like unarchived it, pulled it out of the archives and started to actually make like a channel out of it. Started by like going through, and that's the other thing is so I wanted to start to buy cards again. You can't find this is like you couldn't find a pack on the shelves. You still can't in my area. So I was like, okay, you can see the videos. I started driving every Saturday. I'd go to Target, I'd go to Walmart, I'd go to freaking Barnes and Noble just trying to find cards. And it got so frustrating. I was like, look, I am not about this life. I am not going to waste every Saturday of my life driving around to buy 4 packs of cards. I'm just not. How can I beat this system? Well, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna get hooked up with the distributor. I'm just gonna buy this shit myself, wholesale distributor level. That was my plan.
Yep.
So I managed to squeak in under the wire with my distributor. I started an LLC. Um, sold a. I expressed like oh 200 really high end cards right to CGC. Sold them all in PWCC. Made a good amount of seed money, and that's when that was the money I used to start up with my distributor. And I was like, and I it's interesting because I have this all on the channel too. Um,
Yep.
all the hurdles that you have to overcome when you start with a distributor. It is not what people think it is. It is a lot of hard work. It is a lot of grinding. It is a lot of buying shit you don't want in order to be able to get access to shit you do want. But at the end of the day, it's still easier than driving from Target to Walmart to Target to Walmart to look for cards. So a year later of running the channel, I've turned it into kind of like a hobby and a business. And I'm really like I'm hooked in it again now. Like it's a part of my life. Like I my long-term plan is still to grade all my own cards, my collection. I want to grade the whole thing, but I'm doing it slowly, a little bit at a time. Obviously, PSA shutdown has been. We all know that. Um, so I have my YouTube channel. I just got accepted on Whatnot, which I've been having a blast with. That's fun. That's a whole different ball game, but that's a lot of fun. So it took me a solid year to get to the point where I'm at with my distributor, where I'm starting to get more allocations now. Obviously we are where we are with like fusion and battle styles and chilling reigns. They were
Yep.
widely available. They still are with the distributor. And having my Whatnot platform allows me to move cases a lot easier than it does on eBay. So I'm able to buy more from my distributor. I'm not making the hugest amount of profit on it, but I'm able to churn it fast, which is useful because
Yep.
if you get your spend up, my goal is to be able to like okay, like star I keep want to call it Starbirth because that's what it's in Japan. Um
Really stars.
yes, Brilliant Stars, thank you. I want it to like okay, I want to get like 10 cases. I want to put a case away. I want to open a little bit more than a case for my binder, my personal collection, and the rest I want to sell to make up for the 3 cases that I just took for myself. Like I want to break even. That's my goal, just to break even, to collect and play for free, so that
Yep.
like when League opens back up and competitive play opens back up, I have all the cards I need to basically do this hobby for free, which is I think like that's not an outrageous goal. Like I'm not trying to be Pokerev over here, but I'm also like I really started to get into graded cards. Like I really like because I you have to like when you have a collection like we do or like when we're deep into it with like certain cards that we have,
Yep.
you have to know the smartest way to get the most value out of what you intend to sell. So I really do like it, and there's a lot of I could go on and do a whole video about all the mistakes I've made and the lessons I've learned this last year. I've There's been about 4 or 5 moments where I feel like if I just would have jabbed left instead of jabbed right, I'd have been in a whole other position. Um, their lessons learned for sure. And I try and like help people as much as I can on my videos. Like when I learn a lesson or I learn something, I try and like put it out there like, hey, take this from me. Don't do this. And I'm sure this can get into a lot of the topics we want to talk about tonight, but that's pretty much like an intro. It was a little bit longer than I thought it would be, but that takes me from like the beginning to like where we are, where I'm at now, like where we are with like the hobby and everything. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much that's what I got.
Yeah, that's good. Hell yeah. Did you end up selling all those Skyridge cards, the Poke Knowledge?
No. No, I'm not gonna do that.
He wanted them boys bad, bad. He
He
was
never
about to.
contacted me about it after that, honestly. He never did. But even if he did, I'm not gonna sell him all those Skyridge cards. No. No.
He wanted them so bad. What they're
I
watching
know.
that over. That's
Um,
funny, man. Your competitive play. So there's a regional coming up in Indianapolis. You going in May?
I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Oh, is it official?
I think so.
Hmm.
My friend's going. He's already booked his hotel.
Thank you. I'll have to look at Pokemon's website. Yeah, I think I might do it. Yeah. I'll have to get. So I'm getting married this year.
Yep.
So I'm trying to save my vac.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
December engagement.
December engagement. Yep, December engagement. And yep, we're planning on a November wedding. My fiance and her two kids will be moving in with me this year. So I got a lot of stuff, a busy year planned. Obviously, we're gonna have to take a honeymoon, so I only get 14 days vacation a year. So I like I'd love to go to Collecticon with everyone. A lot of people have
Yeah.
asked me to go, and I'm like, dude, I'd love to, but like I gotta be responsible with my vacation this year. For my soon-to-be wife, like she wants a honeymoon. I don't blame her. Um, but I might be able to swing a regional. I mean, I only need like a day, maybe a Friday because it'll probably be a Saturday or Sunday. So yeah, I could swing a regional. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna look into that. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to go play again, dude. That'd be my first tournament. Woo! I think my last tournament I played in before that was Worlds, honest to Christ. Other than pre-releases, I don't really
Yeah.
count those. But yeah, that would be fun. Dude, I'd love to come out of nowhere and make like a comeback and just be like, yo, y'all remember, like nobody's gonna remember me. Nobody's gonna remember me. Nobody was playing the last time I played. Nobody.
You keeping up with the meta at all or no?
Yeah, I watch a lot of YouTubers that do like run throughs on decks. Yeah, I am. The Mew VMAX. It's been wrecking
Yeah, that
house.
does.
Yeah, that deck. I know. Um, I know V Star is going to change a lot of the meta. There's a lot of really good cards coming out in that. So actually, there's a deck idea I've had that I've wanted to put together. I've been trying to do PTG Online. I haven't had the time, but I have stacks of code cards.
Yeah.
But it's a pain in the nut.
Enter-
It's a pain in the ass to enter them in and open the packs. Like I wish to God there was a faster way to do this. I'm about to pay my stepson to enter my code cards in for me.
Can
Like
you scan the QR codes?
not with my webcam. It won't. It won't. You need an iPad. I don't have an iPad. You won't let you do it on your iPhone.
You can't do it on your smartphone?
Nope. So if you go to the website, like if you go to install the app on your iPhone, it says you need an iPad for some reason. You can't install the online. There's not a. But they're switching to the new platform.
Yeah,
Supposedly there will be an iPhone app for that. So soon.
that'll be good.
It will be because that's one thing I really want to get into. I'd love to run some rounds on that and some tournaments online before I go play in person just to get a little bit used to it again. Um, but I have a spread damage deck. So the types of format it's funny because the types of decks I really like to play, like they're not the most popular decks right now. Like I really like disruption. I like spread damage. I like sniping decks. I like hand disruption. I like my favorite way to win is to deck your opponent. I love decking. Like these are the types of
Sick.
yeah, but these are the what it's funny because like these are like the hardest types of decks to make. Like there's Pokemon. See, this is one thing now we're getting into some weird stuff, but this is one thing I liked about Magic that I think Pokemon doesn't do as good of a job in. Magic does a really good job of like the archetypes there are ways out there to win by all methods of winning, not just taking the life counter down. Like you can deck out
Yep.
your opponent. It's a lot easier to do. I've always thought that there was the other elements of winning a card game other than taking the 6 prizes in Pokemon. They don't expand on those enough. There's not if they could adjust the meta so that it was more than just taking the 6 prizes as fast as possible, this game would flourish a lot more. Um, I
Yep.
love stall decks. I love stuff like that. Like it's just because it makes the game interesting. It shakes it up. It's not just, a race to the 330 HP V max that can do 300 damage. It's just ramp and it gets boring. Like honest to Christ, if we're going to get on a modern rant here for a minute, but there are a lot of things about modern that I hate. I hate them. I don't like 3 prize Pokemon. I don't like 300 HP
Yeah.
Pokemon. I mean, I feel
It's
like I'm playing
crazy.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Like it's ridiculous. Like,
Power creep's pretty real.
oh, before we forget, I know this is completely random, and I've yet to go on to actually talk to any about this. But since we're talking about modern, real quick, one of my complaints with modern cards, not the gameplay, but the cards, um, I've always said that the cards feel cheaper than the old school cards do.
The
But I've yet
stock.
the card stock, and I've yet to be able to figure out. I've yet to be able to articulate to people in a tangible way my point about that. But I have. I figured out a way of doing it. Let me find a card real quick. Hang on. Do. I gotta have something right here. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Sounds like a
Three.
Pat Flynn type video.
There's a trick here, and I'm gonna show you. I don't have any. Oh, here we go. Okay, here we have a Fusion Strike Azumarill, right? Take a Fusion Strike Azumarill. It's not a hologram. Take a card from Howell and Phantoms, okay? Hold the card like this. Shake it. Go like this. You can hear it. It flaps. If you take an old school card and you do that, you don't hear it. You can't make the card flap. Like the card stock is flimsy. You can
Wonder, is it thinner?
It's thinner.
Have you ever measured it?
No, I mean it's millimeters. I haven't, but you can see
Yeah.
that it's thinner, but they feel cheaper. They feel cheaper. And it just feels like so what I think that they actually did, and I have yet to prove this theory, because the art on modern is fantastic. Not so much the V and the V Max art. I mean, 4-band is what it is, but I'm talking like the commons and uncommons. The art is up a notch than it used to be.
Yep.
I think there's probably some marketing meeting behind closed doors where they said to people, they're like, listen, we can pay this artist $1,000 to make one really good picture, and then we can replicate that picture a million times on cheaper card stock. So we could save money on card stock, but pay somebody to make a master, like a mold, like a print, and then just duplicate the shit out of the print rather than cheap out on the art, but then crank up the production on the card quality. They're saving money by cheaping out on the card quality, but they're just paying like 100 artists probably a little bit more to make better pictures in order to get kids, because all the kids care about is the pictures, really.
Yep.
Um, they don't know that they're getting ripped off. They're getting ripped. It feels like I'm getting ripped off. Is what it feels like. It feels like these cards just mean they're just crap. Like they feel like crap in my hands. I feel like if you hold an old Wizards of the Coast hologram, like you can feel some heft to that card. Like you feel like you're getting something for your money. They feel like a bigger, like a nicer quality card. And I really hate the Pokemon Company for doing that because I think they think we're stupid. And it's like, I'm not stupid, bro. I see through your scheme. You're making more money because you're cheaping out on production quality, but yet you're paying artists to make nicer pictures. Like, you think we're not dumb? Like, we see what you're doing.
I feel like the modern Japanese doesn't flap like that. I
It
don't know.
doesn't.
No.
But no, but they haven't changed their card design. And nope, it's been the same card stock, same printing process for, oh, Jesus, since they switched to the new backs. Yeah, it's been the same.
Yep.
The-
Yeah, it's crazy.
I just thought about that the other day. I'm sitting here going through cards and I'm flapping and I'm like, wait a minute, you can hear this thing. It
it's an
sounds like
audible sound.
it's an audible sound. I'm like, yo, this is ridiculous. Um, anyway,
Yeah.
a little bit of a modern rant there. But yes, that I will check out that tourney. That sounds like fun. That sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And just a little on your YouTube, man. I definitely really enjoy your going through your binders out back there, the different sets and seeing, because that's the era I omitted, essentially. I'm
Oh.
omitted Pretty much anything past silver and gold version. Did not play with those cards, collect much of them. So seeing and going through, I like looking at the cards that are playable. I like understanding, like, oh yeah, look at that. That ultra balls are always good, and
Yep.
just getting that understanding and seeing all these really good, like the one you just did today, a bunch of hollow cards, 11 of them, and not a single one was
Not,
played. It's all
not a
just junk.
single one was played. Dude, that's what it used to be like too when sets would come out. We'd get the translations of the sets and we'd be like, dude, this is a shit set. No one would want to buy it. Nobody bought sets for collector's value in like that I knew anyway, and I knew a lot of people. People bought sets based off how they would play in the card game. Like, why am I going to buy a bunch of cards I can't use? They're just going to sit in a binder. That was the mentality. It wasn't let me stonk out on gold stars, because they're going to be valuable someday. You
Yeah.
had people that completed like I was a collector, so I wanted a master set, but me ripping extra packs of a set was completely determined by a set's playability. There was some of like I did have my favorites. So Team Rocket Returns, awesome freaking set. I love the Delta species, the look of the cards, so I would buy more of that because like it wouldn't I would like to get multiple copies. I always wanted 4 copies of any card because you needed a
Play
play
with that.
set, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Same thing with Magic. Like you need a play set, right? That's the player mentality. So I eBay was a thing back then. Like, I don't know if you saw the videos. Like, I have old eBay printouts of like old trophy cards. So like eBay was definitely a thing, but the major way people got their cards was not eBay. It was not through the internet. It was going to stores, buying packs of cards. It
Yep.
was not hard to rip packs until you completed master sets. We're only talking 100 card sets for the majority of the sets here. 100, 110, 120. They're not huge sets. They're not 45 secret rare, 300 card fusion strike sets here. I mean, we're talking like 100 cards with like 10 secret rares sometimes. Like that's it. Or 10 EXs. Like it wasn't the hardest thing in the world to do. Um so yeah, so like I there's so much of the way the card game used to be that I wish to God they'd start to move back towards. But same like you're enjoying that, I'm starting to understand the errors that I missed out on. So I missed out on all of XY. I missed out on all of Sun and Moon. And I'm starting to go back like just so in my whatnot stream, I'm trying to find I had bought some small collections of modern right when I first started getting back into it, try and pick up a lot of the modern stuff. I wanted to do a new master set of everything I missed, which I still intend to do. It's just a really lofty long-term goal to get a master set of everything I missed. Um, so I'm trying to find some cards to throw up for singles on whatnot, and I'm starting to look again at the full arts, the textured EX full arts from
Yep.
XY era. There's some beautiful cards. I love the texture pattern to them. Like they are certain cards that look way better in person than they do on the internet. Like the little like grainy texture pattern, the Ho-Ho, the Umbreon, the Mewtwo, they're really beautiful cards. Um so it made me go online recently and look and like I want to try and pick up sets of like all those full art cards. And luckily they're not that expensive of cards. Um, but like that's something like I'm enjoying going into the eras that I missed too. So I totally relate. Like it's fun to look at the sets that like you missed out on. Like it's fun. Yeah.
Hell yeah. No, you got quite the crazy collection. Like just flipping through your binders, usually, like you said, you got 4 of each, almost 4 of each card sitting in there. You got the reverses on the back side of the page, and it's
Now
crazy.
do you think there's going to be someday like 20 years from now people are going to be saying that about kids that are collecting today like dude you got 4 of each foil from Fusion Strike? Like that's crazy. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Depends how they go through the attrition here at Pokemon, but hopefully that'd be cool. That'd be cool, but I don't know.
I don't think it's as
It just
far fetched as people think it out to be. And the reason is, and this is something that like I never hear anyone talk about because there's not a lot of people that have seen it from the other side like I have. But I remember being around when nobody thought this shit was going to be worth any money.
yeah,
No one
like
thought the
Skyridge time. It's like nobody you open 6 boxes or whatever.
so you have to ask yourself why is it worth money then?
Yeah.
Why? And why can't Fusion Strike be worth the same? Like I love listening to like Jake on Pokenomics and like a lot of the other guys talk about how modern is never going to be worth anything. And I'm like, huh, yeah, that's what you think. I'm like, You just wait. Nostalgia is nostalgia. There are going to be kids that are going to put their binders away, and 20 years from now, they're going to pull out their evolving skies, and they're going to be like, "I still love Eevee. Wow, look at those full arts. How much are those going for? Oh, $400 a piece."
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, it's going to
I remember,
happen.
yeah. It's like I remember ripping those Fusion Strike packs with my dad. I want another box. Now it's $500. What the hell's going on? Like,
Yeah, it's going to happen. Like, I think it's cyclical. Now, no, it's not going to happen 5 years from now, but it is going to happen 10 or 15 years from now. Absolutely. I think every set will. I am one of those people that says every set will appreciate in value. It's just a matter of time. It really is.
yeah, yeah. Everything usually has its floor, right? Most stuff, and I think we got pretty close to it here. In the past couple months, it was pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
it's been pretty intense. Yeah. It's been a wild roller coaster the last year and a half. I'm grateful that all the doom and gloom naysayers that were predicting the huge dip.
Yeah,
We had a dip, and there's definitely been a retrace, but the retrace still hasn't. We're still up over. Like if you pre Logan Paul, we're still up. We're still at those level prices, so it's still a solid hobby. It's just anyone who thought that we were going to sustain the rocket to the moon forever was just like naive. Like that was not bound to continue. Um,
yeah. It was not a good time for to buy. I couldn't buy anything then. It was pretty sad.
it was pretty difficult. I know.
Hmm.
Um, but it's interesting. Like, um, Pokemon's always been like an average, I wouldn't say a poor man's hobby, but it's been an average Joe collectible hobby. It's not sports cards. And I don't think it's ever going to be sports cards. It's not. It doesn't it's we talk about this a lot in other channels and like other discords and
Yep.
stuff, and like I am of the opinion that what it would take to get there, I don't think it's ever going to happen. So a lot of the common theory is that in order for it to go accelerate to that next level, right? You have to have people that come into the hobby that have money, and a lot of it, like millionaires. And everyone's like, well, just give it time, like the people of our generation are bound to make money. But I just don't think that we're ever going to get to a point where the IP, the intellectual property of Pokemon, is going to be able to compete with something like the NFL. It's just, I don't think that the amount of reach that it's going to have is going to get enough millionaires into the hobby, which honest to Christ, I think is a good thing. I don't want the cards to be like your LeBron James and like, your
Yep.
Mahomes and stuff like that. I don't want $500,000 one-offs in Pokemon sets. It's a collectible card game, people. It's a game. It's meant to be played with your friends. Like
Yep.
that's
Till it
the
hits the Oculus,
yeah.
like the VR. You're throwing Pokeballs in a
That would be
gym, and
sick. That would be sick.
could get pretty real
It could.
for a lot of
I
people.
never thought about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, this opportunities are endless. You got the new RCS game coming out. The game looks like a banger.
Looks
I
beautiful.
I haven't played a game since I played Diamond and Pearl, but I didn't collect cards then. I played the game. I got a root. My One of my best friends was in my wedding who's played Pokemon basically the entire time. It's been around. He just didn't really collect it, so he would buy and sell and just build new decks. So he's always kept me in the loop, different stuff. But that game looks
It
strong.
does. I want to play that one. I really wanted to pick up Brilliant Diamond and um what's the Pearl one? Brilliant Diamond and the other one that just
No clue.
they remade Diamond and
Yeah,
Pearl. Yeah.
remade them. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
And I
familiar. I don't remember the names of them.
I want to I keep seeing them in Target and I want to get them, but I don't have a Switch Lite. I'd have to get a Switch Lite too just to play it. But that's next on my list. So I think I'm at a good point where I we can get into this too because I know one of the things you want to talk about is family life balance. Um, it's been challenging. I'd actually really like to pick your brain on this too. Because you're a family person just like me, just like myself, right? Yep.
Yep.
And it's very tricky to balance the business side of what we do to keep in the know with all the discords and all the YouTube videos and the market and the analysis you have to do and all of the work that goes involved in like sorting, organizing, grading, listing on eBay, listing on this, selling on whatnot, selling on your other platforms, like that whole aspect, let alone taking time aside for yourself to just sit down and play a video game. Like I don't even know where I would fit that in at this point. Not to
Yep.
mention working a full-time job, right? Like, and then on top of that, you got to bounce, like you got to balance that out with having a family. And it's definitely challenging at times. The one thing I've been able to do, I'm a very task-oriented person. I do one thing, I move on to the next. Um, so my people don't know this. My other hobby though, for the last 15 years, I compete in strength sports. So I started powerlifting a long time ago. Now I compete in strongman. So I make time to go to the gym 4 days a week too, 4 nights a week. Usually Saturday and Sundays because I can stay a little longer since the weekends. But I won't give that up. I will not give that up. That is
That's
a
good.
hobby of mine. I really like competing in strength sports. It's fun for me. So I have a lot I got to balance. And my soon to be stepson, he plays sports, and my stepdaughter, she's going to play sports in high school too. So we're going to have find time to go to all their sporting events, and it's very my so like this morning I got up at 5 a.m. I did some stuff on whatnot before work. I did work. I packaged all my orders. I went to the gym. I came home. I jumped right on the stream with you. I'm going to end the stream. I got to get up tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. to jump on whatnot again. Like it's, and then, but the way I do it is like, okay, I don't worry about, like, we all have our schedules, right?
Yep.
But if we don't worry about what we have to do later in the day, we just focus on what we're doing right now. So I know that right now I'm not going to worry about that shit. I'm going to do my job. And as
Yep.
soon as my job's over, I'm going to flip a switch and okay, now it's time to do this. And if you don't give yourself time to think about it and worry about it, you just do what's in front of you. You get it done and move on. I find that's the best way for me personally. Um, like, okay, Saturday during the day. That's time with my fiance. We're going to go do a thing. I'm going to stay off of Discord. I'm going to stay off of this. Like but then when I get back, that's when I'm going to hop on, catch up here and there. Within reason, because there's like, I do. So one of the things I do, this might help people out there too. Um, I watch and listen to all the YouTube streamers like you guys, and like whenever there's a live or like a 2 hour, I listen to those on my car rides. So I'll
Yep.
take my phone, I'll put it on my Bluetooth, and I'll just put it up like this, and I'll play a YouTube video, kind of glance every once in a while. But
Yeah.
I'll listen to those as I'm driving a lot of times. Um, if I'm waiting in line at the post office, I put my phone out, I'll jump on eBay, I'll check my listings, I'll check my email. If I'm going to the bathroom, we all have our phone with us. Like there's just different little times. Like I won't let that interfere with personal time with family.
Yep.
When I'm with family, the phone gets set down. But you got
That's
to
good.
find little other times during the day when you can pick the phone up and do that sort of stuff. That's the trick I've learned to balance it out. Like
Yeah.
when I'm in the gym training, I use the phone for music and that's it. I don't worry about it. It's not in my purview. I'm singularly focused. I get in, get what I need to get done, and get out. And don't worry about it. And then when I'm done, then I switch on to the next thing I need to do for the day.
You don't like listening to Gary King Pokemon while you're lifting weights?
No. Pass. Pass. um
Yeah.
he
It's
seems he
it's
seems arrogant to me. I don't necessarily like him very much, honestly. He's not my
yeah.
cup of tea. I have certain people that since getting back into this that like I'd have to meet him in person. I'd have to meet him in person to really judge who he is, but big deal, dude. You got some first edition base. You got a bunch of shit you kept in a storage shed. Do you even know how to play the game? Like I don't understand. I don't even know who you are. Like I've had conversations with the creators of this freaking Wizards of the Coast employees that ran this, and I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why do we care about you because you own a bunch of cards? Like you had the foresight not to open a case of first base.
Yeah. I don't follow his Pokemon journey much. He seems like I don't know. I met him in person once, getting in an elevator at a Collecticon. I played in a fantasy football league with his son, Devin,
Oh,
and I know him more. And but it's they're okay. They're good people. I definitely have no problems with them. I don't like I said, I don't think I'm subscribed to Gary's channel. It's not my cup of tea, but
Yeah,
um
I'm sure they're great people. It's more like I don't understand the idol worship. I don't understand the idol worship.
yeah, it's like the Gary V effect. Like he's like the Gary V because Gary V is not really in Pokemon right now, so they're to the next. Who's the next big celebrity? And it's King Pokemon right now. It's or Steve Aoki or some Logan Paul.
I guess,
It's
yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
It's strange, but
See,
yeah,
back in the day, we used to idolize the idols in Pokemon were the people that won worlds. Like
yep,
that was your idol. Like those
yep.
people were like, "Wow, I want to meet that guy."
Now it's the guys who are getting it pushed to the moon. So it's
Yes, and it's like that's the one. That's see, it's like a different world. Like I don't get it. Like I'm just not from that time. I'm not from that era. Like I don't get that. Uh, there's so many other people I like. I'd rather meet like a lot of the people that I've recently that have won worlds recently. Like I'd love to have a conversation with them. Like I don't know. Um, I've always wanted to meet like Arita. I've always wanted to meet Arita. I've never got a chance to get a signing from him. I think that would be that's like on my list of shit to do in the hobby. I'd love to be able to do that. Um, yeah,
hell
just
yeah.
different, just different.
Not Jason Page signature.
No, no, no hate, no hate.
The Collecticon though, man, I did it without a vacation. I worked 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. So I flew out to Texas after work on a Friday,
Wow.
got to hotel Friday, Saturday morning, went straight to Collecticon 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. Set up my booth, was there all day until like 6, 7 p.m. And then we set up again Sunday and then flew out. We left Collecticon early and flew home Sunday. So I didn't miss a single day of work, but it was a long working weekend.
Yeah.
So it's an option if you're only working weekdays. So
How did you handle the logistics of getting your stuff out there and actually having the stuff to set the booth up?
yep. So I just had one table, so it was 8 foot table or whatever it is. So I made some custom plastic. Like I went and bought plexiglass. I measured my suitcase and I cut it perfectly to fit inside of my suitcases.
Wow.
So there's like 4 pieces that sat on top of my table that flipped open, and I literally just made them myself to fit into my luggage. I had my buddy come so he could carry a luggage with full of cards because I didn't want to put anything under the plane. But yeah, I got it. It's all sitting here, all my plastic stuff ready for the next one if I go. But
That's badass. That's innovation right there. Good. Yeah, man. That's awesome. I didn't even think about doing something like that.
yeah, shipping stuff down there, like the big fancy cases, like it wouldn't work logistically for my trip. Like, but people do it because they look nice. But that wasn't me. Mine did a pretty good job, so
All right. All right. Because that
recommend it.
all right, I'll look into that. Yeah, that'd be something I'd be interested in. But like I hear like old school and like Dan and those guys talk about going, and I'm like, dude, this all sounds like a logistic nightmare. How the hell am I gonna get all this stuff down there? Like, but
Yeah, carry on. Like I flew Delta, you get a free carry on, you get a free personal item. Just I crammed. I had so many cards on me. It was I had too many. I had way too many though. So I would downsize severely next time. It would less sub $100 cards. Sub is the way to go. So
okay,
it's
s-
good time.
so all my CGC I got coming back. Gotcha. Check.
So yeah, I don't know if you want to transition and talk about the number one grading company in the world,
This
CGC trading cards.
this video is sponsored by CGC Trading Cards. Oh,
They
God.
so I guess I'll talk about my relationship because I know you're deeply in love with them. I got not as many cards as you graded, and I heard a recent number from you in one of your videos about sharded myself. Um, and I sent a lot. All I've ever graded is Wizards of the Coast cards from collections I've purchased. So that's basically what I do. I started in Facebook groups, transitioning through Instagram still, but I'm still in Facebook groups, and that's where I bought some
Hmm.
huge collections, $20,000,
Wow.
$10,000 collections. Last year's two of those collections was pretty huge, so I graded a lot of cards primarily through CGC,
Okay.
um, and it was because PSA was shut down, right? So And I noticed early on, like right when CGC was opening, I started sending them cards. I got a few tens, 3 10s.
Wow.
So the first submission was 10 cards, and I got a CGC 10 CD promo Charizard. I
Nice.
think it's
That's
probably the
cool.
only one that ever exists. And I sold it for a PSA 10 price because I thought you get 10s at CGC at the time because I got one in my first submission. So I think the grading got tougher as they brought on a bunch of new people. They started grading the lower cost cards.
They introduced AI over the summer.
Yeah, AI. So lots of 8.5s, right? It's the CGC 8.5 that everybody's getting haunted by. I have tons, and like that's my background right here. Is just
Oh
the
yeah. Okay.
those are all CGC 8.5s and 9s from Expedition Reverse. So
Nice.
it's a bunch of 10s, PSA 10s would be in there, sadly. So
Well, let me ask you about that now that like have you been selling those 8.5s from have you been selling those reverse from Expedition?
yep, eBay.
So the number you mentioned was 3,500. I got about 3,500 cards coming back. A good chunk of them are reverse sets from a lot of the EX era, Expedition onward. Basically, a lot of the reverse foils. I'm grading all my reverse foils. Um, I'm scared at what grades I'm going to pull at CGC, and I keep a very close. Well, I'm sure we'll eventually get into PWCC because it's one thing I love that you do. Because I used to do a lot more of that, and I just haven't had the time. Um, but I keep a good eye on the stuff that I have in grading personally because I want to know what I can expect from it when I get
Yeah.
it back. And one of the areas I keep a good eye on is reverse foils. So I'm actually really interested. Like that's why I asked you. Um, have you been like have they been moving the CGC reverse foils and are had they been do you feel like if you had to regrade them all today at the current bulk price of CGC of 12.75 a card with membership, would you still regrade them and would you still be able to make profit on them?
Yeah, I think yeah. I not my lowest because all I have is 8.5s and 9s. I sent everyone that I thought was really good. So the lowest I think I got 1.7 and it was a for alligator reverse, which it's at least a for alligator.
True.
But yeah, it's been moving pretty well. The cheapest card's probably $25 for a
Okay.
trainer. But obviously some of the I list only by like I listen to what Dan Collectable or Catch 'em
Yes.
all collectibles does. He does the cheapest on eBay, buy it now only. So I was following that, and some of the stuff was selling for about PSA price.
Wow.
Not I'm not taking offers intentionally on some of them. Some of them I accidentally did and clicked something wrong, um, but yeah, it's been pretty decent steadily
Okay.
income. We got about almost 300 listings of just that type of stuff.
Good to know. So yeah, I did get 3 or 4 CGC orders back recently within the last 2 or 3 months prior. I will say I'm completely sold out of everything. I sold there's probably about 1,000 cards, maybe about 800. There's three orders, it's about 200, 250 an order of cards. Um, a couple of those orders though were duplicates. So I graded a bunch of expedition starters
Yep.
and I graded a bunch of early Nintendo promos and a bunch of Wizards promos. Like this was just bulk stuff I sent into CGC. I got mostly nines. Nine would have been my average grade on a lot of that stuff. Some 8.5s, a few sevens, some not a lot, some 9.5s, no tens. Um, and yeah, I moved a lot of it. My original, this all kind of ties together. My original strategy was to move it all through PWCC, but I was one of the victims in August. I had roughly $20,000 worth of cards ready to go in the August auction a week before they pulled it off eBay, like they got booted. And I just remember sitting in the living room when I read that email, like, what the hell am I going to do now? Like, what? I got all these cards in the vault. I had expected that money to be put into something else. And I'm like, I don't like, what do I ask for them back? Like, what do I do? Like,
Yeah.
I'm more I've really enjoyed your last couple videos. They have made me like the last couple weekly sales have made me extremely optimistic about where like PWCC might be getting back to their eBay level pricing because
Yeah.
I've gotten taken to the house on PWCC. I kept my stuff that I had in the vault. I've been listing it on their open marketplace. I've ran some stuff through the monthlies. The stuff I've run through the monthlies, I've gotten taken to the bank on, like just
There was
over the
some cheap stuff on the monthlies, but the weekly,
good, good,
not.
good. I'm glad to see that because the amount of cards I have coming back, the thought of having to goes to that family time management thing. The thought of having to list 3,500 cards on eBay makes me want to shoot myself. Like I just do
Yeah.
not want to take 3,500 pictures and list 3,500 cards myself. That was never my plan.
Yeah.
My plan was to slowly like give like a hundred a week, 100 a month into PWCC and have them do it for me back when eBay, like back when I sent all this into CGC. That was my plan. I would never have sent that many cards. Not that they're not valuable and that don't deserve to be graded, but I would have slow trickled it in. So the other thing that's the reason I'm getting them all back, I might as well just say this now. This is so my experience with CGC, I have been slowly critical of them over the last year as they have done certain things. I did not start out my first grading experience ever was with CGC. I liked them right out of the gate. I used to grade comic books, so
Yeah.
I knew of CGC. Like I used to I have Transformer comics that I've graded with them and some X-Men comics. So
Good
when I
fit
heard
for you then. Yeah.
yeah, right. So my first grading experience ever, I graded 200 high-end cards with CGC as opposed to PSA. I got a gold star Charizard and a first edition Neo Destiny Charizard in 9.5s, and I did not crack them to regrade them with PSA. I sold them as is, along with a bunch of crystals, a bunch of gold stars, a bunch of cards. You could go through. I sold them all in PWCC in the like March auction of last year. And the sum of money I got, I probably could have doubled had I just sold them with PSA. But I didn't really know at the time. I didn't know the disparity on prices. So ever since then, that was a learning lesson for me. And I have been tracking the disparity in prices.
Yeah.
So everyone likes to talk about a few things. Everyone likes to talk. I don't want to get into everything we can if you want, but I don't want to take up everyone's like too much time.
I don't
But
got to get up at 5 a.m.
um so the common problems or the common gripes people have with CGC, they grade too harshly. We don't get comped as much per grade as we do with PSA. They have the 10-point grading scale. Like, I agree with all three of those things. Um, the prices, they when they raised their price, their bulk prices now are more than they used to be. Also a negative for what you're getting on return. Everyone hates the fact that they upcharged the subgrades, the one thing they had going for them. I agree on all fronts, but none of those are the reason that I now hate CGC. The reason that I now hate CGC is because starting in December, they needed to show this is my suspicion that they needed to show earnings for their investors. So they started to do games with billing. They started to do games. They started to damn near I would say borderline illegal things with how they're going and billing their people that have cards in for grading. So let me give you an example. So I had in my queue, I have 14 grading submissions with CGC. The latest, furthest one back I had was a submission from March. That submission entered grading in November. November, it entered grading, finished grading by the end of November. So less than a month through the grading process, I got my March submission back. There, I was like, okay, cool. My submissions are going to start to catch up, right?
Yeah.
December, December through so middle of December, like two more of my submissions entered grading. Now those ones, so I took a break from March till June. I submitted nothing. So my next two were in June. So I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Y'all jumped 2 months and you're now like less than 3 weeks later, you caught up 2 months in time. But I'm like, all right, well, maybe less cards are coming in, they're ramping up, maybe theoretically possible. However, that was in middle of December. I now have all 14 of my submissions in grading. We're talking cards that I submitted in October. So wait a minute. You're telling me, you're going to sit there and tell me, Mr. CGC, that you are actively grading 14 of my submissions all at the same time, ranging from June till October, and you billed me all within a 2-week period. I had $35,000 come out of my checking account within 2 weeks. I was so pissed because it's bullshit. There is no way the Oompa Loompas at CGC are actively grading 5 months of cards all at the same time. There's just no way.
No.
And if you call, all they say is, well, you agreed in your contract that when we enter grading. So I'm like, prove it to me. Send me a picture of the Oompa Loompas grading my cards. I want to see it. Every day for the last 2 weeks, I have harassed. I have not harassed. I have been on top of their customers. I won't let it go. I won't let it go because it's asinine. You took $35,000 from me and I have nothing to show for it. And I am not going to have anything to show for it for probably months.
You file fraud with your bank?
But what's the point? They'll keep my cards.
Yeah, they would.
They'll keep my cards. They won't send them back and they won't grade them. So at the end of the day, I still get screwed. There's nothing you can do in this situation other than eat it. I'm glad I had the capital for it. That was never my plan, was to get hit with all that up at once.
Have they they almost have to guarantee they're gonna get you all of them at the same ish time, right?
That's
Since
what
they
they
all
say. That's what they're telling me. I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. They
yeah.
keep replying to me saying, we've checked with the grading department and we can confirm that your cards are in various stages of the grading process. Okay, sure.
Yeah, I had something similar to happen, but that was not in December. It was probably almost a year before that. And it was only $3,000, but it was like 4 different submissions broken apart that they did that, and they all came back very separated. They didn't all come back together. They all came back a month and a half, 2 months apart, and I paid all in advance for all these. I'm like, why did I just get this fat? But actually, it was $9,000. It was $9,000, and very same exact thing you're going through, which is bullshit. So,
And I can imagine if they did it to me, they did it to a lot of people. It's not just me. This is very shady business practice.
yep,
It's very shady.
yeah,
I wouldn't be complaining if they did. I mean, it would be a shock, but I'd still be happy if it took like 2 weeks and I got 14 packages at my door. Like, because look, I knew what I was signing up for when I sent them in. Yeah, it came a little early. I'm business savvy. I had the capital on hand. But at the end of the day, you're giving me the service I paid for. So my complaint would not be, I wouldn't be as annoyed about it. But no, you're taking my capital, putting it in your bank, earning interest on my money for shit you're not going to return to me for 2 to 3 months from now. I'm sorry, but that's virtually illegal.
yeah. You said your last submission was June, and you paid for June already.
So my last submission was I have one from November. October I've paid for already. I
That
have one in my queue I haven't paid for, and that's from November. It's my last submission.
and when you did that submission, what was the turnaround time? 180 days.
All of those for October, August, July, June, they all entered grading within 2 weeks of each other. And I got billed for all of those
Yeah,
submissions within 2 weeks. And I'm like, this is horse shit. Every day I'd log into CGC and more of my orders would be in grading and they'd be on my credit card. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you're not grading these cards.
I know. Yeah, they don't have enough manpower.
No way. Like,
um,
it'll be what it'll be. Eventually I'll get them back. Like, so this is one reason I was very happy to get on Whatnot, because I've been able to sell. Whatnot is a great platform and it's not as shisty as people think it is. I am one of those channels who I use the platform primarily for two things. I use it. First of all, they only take 8% of your sales as opposed to fee-based 12%. So I'll run my singles. I'm running a lot of singles through Whatnot because I get an extra 4% from it. So I've made up, like, I sold a Dragons today on my stream. I sold a Dragons EX Dragons Charizard for 300. I've been selling some more of my higher end singles to try and like help recoup some of that grading bill that I got hit with out of nowhere. Um, and then also it is a way for me to um, sell the modern that I have because
Yep.
I can pack out, I can basically pack out um, battle styles and chilling reigns. Like, yeah, I'm not making more. I'm not. If once you sell it all, it's still about $144 a box, but that's MSRP. So the way I look at it is, there'd be no different than if I had a brick and mortar store and I had kids coming and buying them at $4 a pack. Like, it's not. I don't not one of these whatnot channels that likes to like trick and game you into shit that you're not getting. I give away good prizes. I gave away an ultra premium collection the other day. The one that I had personally on my shelf, that was my bounty prize. Someone pulled an alt art. Like I do like if the bid's at 20 for the packs, the 3 packs, if you get to 20 and you pull an alt art, you win the prize. But the prizes I always make them really good. So I gave away a $250 ultra premium collection the other day. So it's fun. I get a lot of enjoyment out of Whatnot because I like opening packs, but I don't want to open all my packs just to keep them all.
Yeah.
I don't need to open 45 boxes of battle styles for myself. But it allows me to turn it over quicker than I would be able to on eBay, which is it's a nice win-win. It's a nice fun platform. I do like it. It's a little difficult finding all the time to stream on it. That is a little eBay is a little bit more of a passive income where
Yeah.
you
So you got to
just
invest some time up front, but yeah.
once you get invested, it's just a matter of shipping and managing it on your phone. You don't have to actively sit down and talk for 4 hours straight. Like, you don't have to talk to your audience, like an
Yeah.
auctioneer.
Yep.
So I don't I used to have a lot more negative opinion of people that broke packs and stream, but I that has definitely changed once I figured out how difficult it is to talk for 4 hours straight when you're breaking cards on packs. Like, I am mentally tired when I am done with
I
that.
could
I am like,
imagine.
dude, I just want to go to bed. Like, I am tired. Like, it's I'm not going to go out there and say it's as bad as like working like a real job. Like, it's still fun. We love
Yeah.
this hobby. It's fun, but it's not all those people out there that have this impression that it's just you're just scalping people and it's instant turnkey money. You could be you couldn't be wronger if you tried. Further from the truth. There is a little bit of a challenge to it. It is difficult. It is physically tiring at times.
Yep. Yeah. You know, Mentally Collectables? He's on.
Yes. You know him?
Yeah, I met him at Collecticon. I actually did like $5,000 deal with a bunch of my CDC slabs, and he did very well at Whatnot with them. And I watched him sell through those, and it killed me inside because he easily doubled his money the way he does it. Which Whatnot, I was skeptical. There are people who do some shisty things on there, but there's a lot of people that do it right. Like, I'm not a fan of like the duck races where you
No.
buy 20 spots for a slab and it's over market. Like, if it's market, it makes sense. But if it's a lot of
Sure.
people were getting over market, and it's yeah, so Mintley was making a mint on some of my cards. Like, he was doing extremely well with
Yeah.
like duck races and all that stuff. And
Don't feel too bad about that though, because take it from somebody like myself who like I'm kind of like in your situation with like viewership and following and stuff.
yeah,
When you start off on Whatnot, you're not mint leaf. It takes a while to get 4,000 followers on Whatnot. You have to have the viewership. You have to have it's way different if you have 100 people in your stream or if you have like I average 20, sometimes 30 people in my streams. It's a whole different ball game when you have people like the more eyes that are on your slabs and your cards, chances are, hey, that's a Flareon collector. He wants that card. But
yeah,
if you only have 20 people in your stream, that card you might be throwing up, people might not want to bid on that. Um, so you might say like,
yep,
oh man, he doubled what I sold him for. But if you were to have done that, you probably wouldn't have been able to. I
no,
wouldn't. Nope.
definitely
Like,
not.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yep. And I've thought about doing some commission stuff through him, like just because
I wouldn't
he
blame
has
you.
that following. That's that's where it is. Like Z&G Emporium does the consignments because he's got 20,000 followers, and
Yeah.
that's what it takes.
I looked into. I sent him an email. I sent him an email about consigning some of my stuff because, again, when PWCC got booted off eBay, I looked at like, "Ooh, what am I going to do now?" I looked into
Yeah,
Probstein. I actually commissioned some stuff with Probstein. I sent him some of my stuff. Relatively positive experience. My one complaint with him is that he doesn't run Sunday to Sunday. It's really random what day you get of the
yeah,
week.
yep,
I don't like that. I like that Z runs it on Sundays. Dan, or not Dan, but old school Nick, he runs them
Nick.
too. And I've I've gotten all of their rates and all of their what they charge for commission. It's not out. It's one of those things where it's like it's not worth it to me to send them $50 and under cards.
No,
Like
yeah,
what I got coming back, the bulk of what I have, we're talking sub $200 cards. So I don't want to inundate Nick with 1,000 slabs at his percentage rate. It wouldn't be feasible. Now the other cool so getting back to like what you've been going like what you have found recently with the weeklies at PWCC. The one thing that's awesome about PWCC running your cards through them, and this is good information for anyone who's starting in this hobby in this business now with the whole 1099s. Um, PWCC doesn't send you 1099s.
correct.
They're based out of Seattle. It's sales tax free. So that's an extra percentage you save right there. Like if you're not planning on the tax, like if you don't have your eBay set up right where you're not collecting sales tax, and like I was so thankful when I figured that out. I was like, yo, because the majority of what I sold so far this year, my big sales have been through PWCC. And that like I wasn't expecting. It's not that I don't have the money for the taxes, it's that like I've never done it and I don't want to worry about as much about figuring that out my first year doing the taxes about having to account for such a large percentage of my sales. It's going to be a lot easier for me to figure out the tax stuff with just getting one from eBay and just getting one from Squarespace. But if I got hit with that PWCC one too, I would have been like beside myself. Um, so that might be a way for people out there to like offload your cards and not worry about the tax issue. Um, whereas opposed to if you run them through eBay, you're going to have that's another aspect you have to worry about. You have to keep that in the back of your mind. You have to collect the taxes. Um, so I'm really pulling. I have been a proponent of PWCC for a long time, and I'm really pulling for them. I really am. Like they're doing a lot of stuff that pisses me off. I think their app is shit, and I think that they should have spent I think they
Yeah,
should have spent more time fixing their app than they should have with upcharging a seller's premium. Hey, maybe they'll take that money and reinvest it into personnel. Who knows? One could hope that they'll hire more people to innovate their website a little bit more, get some better search function in there, innovate their app a little bit more. Like I'm hoping that they use this to reinvest in the company. Um, because I do see a lot of potential with it. But I just think that, and who knows? I mean, there's some smart business people there. Maybe they know more than we do. Um, I it just hurts having such a huge share of our hobby off platform, so to speak. Because somebody brought up the other day, and maybe you know, I don't know. I don't even know if PSA is tracking the sales history of PWCC.
I don't think so. No,
That's huge. That's huge. The fact that you can't go into PSA's website and look at the sale, like the fact that all those off platform sales occur, and that data is not being tracked by anyone, any websites.
yeah, I don't trust. Like, I don't like the PSA tracking as it is on eBay, just because so many people list the things wrong with the different wrong names, and it messes up the prices on there from what I
True,
see. And
true.
um, yeah, it says like like a PSA 10 fossil first edition Zapdos was it's like $300. I looked on there and it's like as I sold it on eBay, buy it now for like 1150. I'm like, all right, this makes sense. Um, But yeah, PWCC, man, I had like 200 cards sitting here at the end of December. Wanted to submit them for free because they had their thing through December 31st. You could submit for free or whatever. And then they announced the weekly auctions literally simultaneously, and I just like buckled up. I'm like,
Yes, right.
I want to see how this goes now instead of just submitting. Like I've bought through them through eBay, like almost every monthly through eBay, and every monthly out of eBay. I've purchased cards off PWCC and stuck some in the vault, but I've never submitted to them, and that was going to be the first time. But the weekly scared me, so that's why I've also been doing this, my own personal gain, which could help some people just to get my understandings. Like, okay, where do I want to send all these slabs and all the 500 ish coming back? Like, I want to, like you, I want to send them to make the best, most responsible decision for my family and my time.
Yes,
And
exactly, right. I mean, that's what anybody should do. I think that's nothing wrong with that. That's what we should all be doing, right? And
yep.
it's not as clear cut as it was a year ago what to do. Like there's a lot of other options out there now. And
What were their fees on eBay?
um so under $200. Oh, you're taking me back. Under $200 cards was under $100 cards. There was fee structure. Oh no, yeah. So it was 50. The first one was 50 and under, 15% plus a transaction fee. I can't remember what it was. A flat like a 50 cent or something like a flat transaction fee and 15%, which was very enticing
Yeah.
because it's only 3% more than eBay takes to begin with. And that's what originally got me to send my stuff. I was like, yo, for 3%, y'all can handle the shipping and the customer interaction. That ain't worth my time. I was like, take it. So,
Yeah.
but then as it goes up, the fee structure goes down. So over 100, I think is
Yeah.
14%. And then the larger you get into the larger numbered items, it goes down to as low as I think the lowest one was 10%. So it does actually get better than eBay because PWCC was only paying eBay 2%.
Yep. And now it's for sub $50 cards, it's 20%, right?
No, it was still
All the
they kept
buyer's premium.
the buyer's premium. So they kept the fee structure the same relatively to eBay. So they only take 15%, but there's the buyer's premium. So what that's going to do is deter buyers from buying. So no, the sellers don't pay more, but is that going to affect buyers from wanting to buy a sub $50 card or not? I mean, 20% is 20%. You got to tack that
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. I think they actually changed that lowest one. It's not, I think it's 20%. So the 100%, you get 100% of the hammer, but the house, you're paying a 20% fee.
Yeah, the
Like
buyer pays. Yeah, 20.
they get the full buyer's premium versus
Oh yeah,
it steps down from there. So like you cut into the buyer's premium above a $50 card.
right. But as a seller on sub $50 card doesn't cost me more to sell. It's still 15%. So the buyer's premium, you still have to pay the seller fee too.
Yeah.
They're taking it on both ends. PWCC is charging the buyer and the seller.
Yep.
So they're actually on a sub $50 card, they're making 35%. 15 from the buyer or 15 from the seller, 20 from the buyer.
Yeah.
It's crazy. At least I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure
No.
seller
Yeah.
fees haven't changed. I'll
Yeah.
be I'll,
I think the seller fee for the lowest one's 20%, but I could be wrong.
I
Which
could be wrong too. Yeah, I
I
haven't.
did the video on it, and I thought it, and I think it is going to deter a lot of people from selling those cheaper cards, and it's trending that way from these first three weeklies. It's been not a lot of lower end, but for an example, like $100 card, if the card sells at Hammer for $100, the buyer pays a 120,
Right.
and then the person that sold it only gets $100. So technically, you're paying 20%.
Right. Seller commission. Your submission it's seller commission process though, and it's very tricky because they don't list their fee structure anywhere like really available.
See if I pull it up, I can share my screen. Trying to get in contact with the director of business development over there, get him in on one of these discussions would be really
that
good.
would be cool.
Yeah, I wish their app was as nice, their website. That'd be nice. Yeah, it's hidden in here.
Yeah. Do you see it?
No, oh, here it is, probably under the under weekly auctions. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's just the seller commission. I can't find how much it costs.
Yeah, so if you see under the seller's commission, I'm going to share my screen here.
Okay.
All right, can you see that? You see my screen?
Yes, yes.
The seller bonus. So say like so if you sell your item for 100, you get 100% of the hammer. Then the buyer's premium's tacked on. So you get 0% from PWCC's buyer premium.
But you're saying there's no seller fee associated with that anymore?
This is technically it right here. So that 20%, the house is getting it.
Right, but what I'm saying
Here,
is
it's 18%. Here it's 16. Here it's 14. Here it's 12.
So what you're saying is the cost moved from the seller to the buyer, 100%. So in other words, before this whole hammer price, seller's buyer's premium, before this whole jazz, they took 15% of the sale from the seller for a sub $50 card. That no longer is happening at all?
No.
Oh, well, it's
it's technically happening.
But they moved it to the buyer.
Technically happening, but it's just coming out of. So that buyer's premium they tacked on, that's their fee now. That's it. That's your sell. So technically, it's going to eat away at your sale price. In theory, it should sell for 20% less to compensate for it being 20% higher. But yeah, so it technically went up from 15% to what is now 20% at the way you look at it.
But it's not too bad because even if it sells for 20% less, there's no fees, there's no seller fees anymore. The buyer pays a fee and then you're just getting it for so instead of so in other words, if the old days, if you sold $100 card, there's no buyer fees. Buyer pays $100, but you pay $15 out of that to PWCC as a seller. Now, if you sell $100 card, the buyer pays 115. You just get $100 out of it. Or 20%. So the buyer would pay 120, and you only get 100.
Yep.
But so in theory, your $100 card, a savvy buyer should drop that price to $80 and say, "Well, I'm only going to pay 80 for that because at the end of the day." But what's probably happening? You're right. What's probably happening is that the buyers don't know because it's very, very cleverly, poorly hidden on their website when you go to place bids, as Dan showed in his video. So
Yep.
yeah, these first couple weeks sellers are probably going to make a little bit more these first couple weeks with their cards. Yeah.
Yes, and I was shocked they even here it's still like technically like a 5% fee, which I thought was pretty high for a freaking $1 million card. But
yeah, I agree. Wow.
Yeah,
interesting.
It's crazy stuff, man. So I've been chewing these numbers up and spitting them out over and over again, and be pulling the trigger probably. See how a couple more weeks go, and then maybe send them in and delete all of my eBay listings that I wasted too much time doing.
Well, definitely let me
But
know.
my wife helps.
Track, if you wouldn't mind, I'd be totally interested. Track if you could do like your reverse foils, your CGC stuff too. I'm very curious to know like how that stuff performs too, the lower end stuff, not just the higher end, but the lower end stuff too. Um,
Yep. So yeah, like old school Pokemon, he does like the monthly recaps of his sales and stuff. So I hoping to do something like that, showing my the what card sold for what price and what I purchased. Sneak peek, it just came in today.
oh, nice, dude. Oh, hold on, that's very. I can't see the video. What is it? What is it? I mean, I'd say it's a first edition Blastoise. I can't see the grade.
It's PSA 9. Yeah.
Oh, dude, nice. What'd you pay
Yes.
for it?
That was Golden Auctions. It was before the buyer's premium. It was like 4,600, but it was like 5,200. So
Wow, that's still a good
I've
pickup. That's a good pickup.
been going towards the set. I think I got like 6 or 7 more to go. So
Nice.
it's not bad. Not bad. We'll get there eventually.
All my first edition is still sitting at PS. Still,
It's at PSA.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I have another 14 or 15 submissions with PSA that like I have another 3,500 cards with PSA. They're just I'll get those back sometime when my children are born, like my grandchildren.
The way they bill is much more respectable.
I agree.
Much more. I wish I knew the way they billed back in the day because I probably would have just sent it to them because they bill you like right before they send you the card. So
I know, it's awesome. I know. Well, that is how CGC was doing it.
yeah, yeah,
This is
it
recent
was.
with them. Like
When they first started, you paid in advance, but
right, and then they switched it
yeah,
and
quick,
they
pretty quick.
and I was getting billed like I had been getting CGC orders back and I was getting billed like a week or two before I got my cards in hand. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
outrageous. This is recent that they just screwed everyone over. Like and it was kind of for me it was the final nail in the coffin where I'm like, look guys, like you grade hard. I'm not getting as much as I could if I just held it to send a PSA and you just dicked me over. Like I I but that like I will still send a PSA for things I or CGC for things I can't send a PSA because they still do they'll do miscuts a lot better. They'll do error cards. They'll do some stuff that PSA won't do. I wish they would do Top Sun and that they would do Card Ass, but they don't. PSA is the only ones to do those, and Beckett, but submitted Beckett. Um,
Right.
so like I have a lot of Card Ass and Top Sun that I'm waiting to send in but
No.
I couldn't sub that even if I wanted to right now. Like, I had my. Did you go into Did you get any of the PSA submissions today?
No, so I've looked at the last two of them, and it's stupid how I have to buy another subscription on top of my current one.
Oh yeah,
The $100. I
yeah.
haven't. I need to. I have a bunch of stuff I could send for $50, but I just
So I had my 5 cards ready to go, right?
yeah.
And of the 5, this is what I was just talking about. Of the 5, 4 of them are Top Sun and Cardass that I've been wanting to send in for a while. That I'm like, dude, I can't sub these to CGC if I wanted to. Like, and
Are you gonna
I didn't
you
get
gonna
any
send it?
spots.
You
I
didn't
didn't
get one?
no, I waited in line like everyone. We were all talking about it in the Discord. I waited in line and yeah, no, I didn't get them. um I wanted to. I was hoping to get them in. Because I think one of these checklist cards is close to as close to a 10 as I can. It's the nicest card I've ever seen. It's the nicest checklist card I've ever seen. I've subbed. I have about 4 of them in at PSA right now that I got in before they shut down. I got this one and 2 more that I haven't subbed, and this one I picked up from a buy lot of all places. Um, and I remember getting it in the mail, and I remember getting because I bought the whole set. I remember looking at them, I was like, "Holy shit, these are flawless!" Like I was not expecting that because buy is so hit or miss. I was like, dude. It's like I'd say so I probably have bought 10 or 15 collections, Japanese collections from Bai. Legit, half and half. Half of it is good, half of it is bad. It is literally a coin flip is what you're getting in the mail. It really is. Which adds a little excitement to it, honestly, when you don't know what's coming. It might
Yep.
not be the best thing in the world to do, but like yo, I remember one auction I missed out on. I lost because Bai they do the thing where you have to get approval for your bids.
Yep.
There was a very grainy pictured collection, and it was just like so the way they list, you have to do the translation pages, and you have to throw in the kana and the kanji, and one of like when it translates, it's it translates to it's not going out of business, it's like exit, hobby exit or something. It's like when the players just leave the hobby, they sell their collections. And there was like this one collection where it had like 3 or 4 pictures, and in the very upper right corner there was like one card that was in a top loader. Like he had his binders, and then he had one card up here, and I have a video on this. And it was a Players Club Umbreon. It was a Gold Star Umbreon, and it was like one of those like once in a lifetime. Like, I- does anyone else see this? Like, so I went
Yeah.
through the approval process, and I kept getting my bids approved, but you only get one bid approved at a time. So I remember Friday night, I had to put in for my bid approval. I got my bid approval. I put in like it was like a $4,000 bid. I got outbid. The bid approval process takes like 12 hours. So by the time I put in for another bid approval, the damn auction had ended. So I didn't get, and they some guy got that auction for like $5,200, and I was like, yo, someone just picked up a gold star for like a gold star Umbreon for like 5 grand. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, ugh.
If it's included.
I've never bought something and not got what was in the pictures.
It was it. Yeah.
Every auction I've ever bought from Bai, the Japanese people tend to be pretty honest with what they send you. They're not the most honest with card condition, but whatever's in the pictures, I end up getting every time, for
Yeah.
better or worse. um,
I bought a couple fake cards from Yu-Gi-Oh from Bai.
oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's the old too good to be true type thing sometimes, but it's the way it goes.
Gotcha.
Not too expensive.
I guess that would have been possible for it to have been faked, but I he had a lot of other cards in there that like it would have also been just as possible for it to have been real. Like those Players Club promos were given out to players. Like that you did have to earn a lot of points, but like somebody who's selling out their entire collection, and like he had a lot of like old school cards, like binders of like base through like old back. So I mean, it looked like, yeah, that could have been his card. Like, I mean, it does happen. But yeah, dude, it buys like the wild, wild west. It's interesting.
Oh yeah, it is. When you gonna upgrade your binders, get rid of those 3 rings, man. It
I
scares the
know.
crap out of me when I watch them videos.
You're not the only one.
Jesus. The Gold
I
Star Rayquaza just
like, oh
just
yeah, here it is in a 3-wing binder. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I've looked. I don't have binder bite on any of my cards, luckily. Um, I've always kept them in those binders, and I never had a lot of pressure on them, and I don't overload the binders too much. So if like you keep them
Yeah.
vertical, like you keep them in good condition, it's not too. I have some of the like here, like I have a Vivid Voltage Master set in one of these, but I actually don't like these binders. I don't like them. Um
Really.
the ones that are like the
Yep.
black yeah, I don't like these binders. Um I don't know what it is.
Wow.
I like the 3-ring binder. I like being able to take the card pages out, move them around, like switch them around and stuff. Like that's how I've always collected my sets.
I
But
like seeing the backs of the cards in
yeah,
those
exactly.
ones you have.
Yep, I do too. And
Yep.
the other thing is from a player's perspective, the Ultra Pro pages are easy to slip four of play sets in one. Slip a play set in each slot. You can't do that with these. Like that's why I originally went with those. Plus, this shit didn't exist back in. And yeah, you're right. I should upgrade my binder collections. I should. But I'll be honest with you, if I were to break down a lot of those sets, there's like 3 or 4 complete sets in each one of those sets, in each one of those binders. I mean, I would have to make like I did that with Secret Wonders. I started to break down how many master sets I have in my actual original binder. I
Yeah.
got up to 3 master sets for Secret Wonders. But I was again, I put them in 3 rebinders. I didn't buy these when I was doing that. So if I yeah, it would be a lot of binders. To like master set out them all in like one per page to like go through them all. But again, I'm gonna grade them a lot of those cards. I want to grade them and store them in like graded hobby boxes.
Yeah.
My plan is to grade every hologram I have from those sets eventually. I'm going to grade everything. So it's going to take a while, but yeah, I guess you're right. I should probably rebinder them in the interim just so they're a little bit safer. Um, but yeah.
Is I think the biggest issue with bindings back in the day was when you had little Timmy next door just flipping through and just pushing the pages. Like
That's true.
that's what that's what would trash. Like setting them up, I'm sure you're fine. Like even stacking them as long as they're not overstuffed, you're
I've
probably
my
chilling. So
I never took my binders to league. My stuff never left the house. I had like a I had a so like that shelf, you probably can't see it, but that shelf there,
yep,
that's my decks. So what I would do is I would have certain like cardboard boxes that I would have like staple trainers, playable Pokemon that like the stuff like we called it trade fodder basically. So like
yep,
I would bring like condensed versions of like shit I had for trade to like trade bait for people. Um but my actual master sets, my collections, those never left the house. What am I gonna do? Drag around a luggage like suit duffel bags and suitcases to league? And the other thing is that a lot of people, it's like I used to go and people would be like, "Do you have anything for trade?" Half the time they don't have anything I want anyway. I got into Japanese promos. I got into like I was chasing tropical mega battle cards. Like I was chasing rare error cards. My grail cards today are the same ones I never got back in the day. I would like to get a set of inverted stamp WB cards. I've always wanted those. I don't have them. The 4 position only cards, I had an opportunity to get those and I didn't. And I kicked myself for it because I still want a set of the 4 position only cards. But I do have a set of the sample cards. Do you know what the sample cards are?
yeah, I've seen them on TCA Gamings, but
Yeah, I got those. I got a couple sets of those, but I never got they came out right around the time as the 4 position only cards. And I got the ones, I never got the other ones. But those I really want. But it was like at the point I was at the point where collecting, like I would go to league, no one would no your average person isn't going to have what I wanted. So what the
yeah,
hell is the point of bringing stuff to trade? So my stuff stayed at home. I was
yeah,
on eBay looking for cards. Like I remember SM Pratt dropped this person's name in his latest Patreon, and I hadn't heard anybody mention this guy since Jesus Christ back in 2005, 4 when I was buying from him, and that was the UK card collector. There used to be a guy on eBay called the UK card collector, and Pratt said he said long live him. So I think he died. I don't know. Like I hopped out of the hobby, so I don't know what happened to the dude. But this is the dude who used to have up all the trophy cards, the Japanese trophy cards. He'd have them for sale on eBay. I got all my Japanese gold stars from him. I got my Pika ring, or not my Pika rings, but I got my victory rings. I got my grand parties from him. I got any high-end Japanese card I was buying from the UK card collector. He was based out of the UK. And it was just like I hadn't even thought of that person until Pratt said that. I was like, "Holy shit, I remember that guy." But that's where I was in the hobby back in like 2004. I was already into the Japanese stuff. There was no point in me bringing my stuff out of the house because nobody was going to have anything I wanted. Like I was I was
yep.
getting to the point where I'd get a
Bringing
Japanese.
staples.
Yeah, I'd bring staples for like to like because that's the stuff the kids wanted. Like, that's the stuff I'd trade for if I wanted to like if I oh, you have, you know, 2 reverse foils that I need for the master set or whatever. I'll trade you something you want for those so you don't have to keep buying packs. But no, like I remember going to Worlds, like, I'd bring some good stuff to Worlds because you get the Japanese players at Worlds that would they'd trade you one for one, so that's how I got a lot of my Japanese gold stars, like, I remember trading at Worlds, I remember trading I had a Rayquaza gold star, and I traded it for my Japanese Rayquaza gold star, I remember that one, I did one for one on that one. Um, but yeah, like, that's I never had like, that's why my stuff's in pretty good condition because I'm the one who's I have curated it myself, like, no one else has really touched my stuff. I never really brought
Yeah,
it to League.
that's
Um,
huge.
yeah,
Yep.
it's survived 4 moves too. I've moved with this stuff. I moved out of my parents, I moved back to my parents, I moved to my apartment, and I moved to my house. Like, I've had my stuff through 4 moves, like, surprised, like, it's not one of those stories like you had where it was like my parents threw it out on me, like, or made me get rid of it, like,
Yeah.
that's sad, that sucks, man.
Yeah. Was there ever a time in all your moves, like going to Michigan Tech? Because I doubt you brought your cards to college.
No, they stayed at my
So
parents'.
was there ever a time where they almost left you, or you ever thought about getting rid of them, or because I'm sure it's a pain in
So,
the ass lugging all that around.
yes, 2 times that I remember. So, the one time when I was living in my house with my friends, I had them all in the basement. We had a basement. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm very lucky that my one friend who was not a very good person didn't take them and try to sell them for rent money. Um, I did not take as good care of them as I didn't keep them as close to the chest as I should have. So I lucked out a little bit that person who wasn't a good person didn't do me wrong because he easily could have. And then when I lived with my now ex-wife, um, she pressured the shit out of me to get rid of my stuff because it was taking up too much room in the living room. And I reached out to Mike Martin at Pokepop and said, dude, you just want to buy my collection? Like, I was thinking like 10 grand neighborhood. I was like, I was going to get rid of it all for like 10, 15 grand. And I would have, and I totally would have, without even looking up a card on eBay. But this was when I was considering doing that. We're talking 2 years, right around Pokemon Go time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't it would have been way under market at the time, but not as under obviously as it is today. Um,
Wow.
but those were the that I got a lot of flack between. I also have I don't know if we were talking on camera or off, but I have a lot of Transformers too, a lot.
Yep.
I have a huge Transformer collection, and that was part of the promise I made to my ex was when I got the house was to get rid of some of these collectibles to make room, like because I had a dream of having like nice glass cabinet cases with like choice Transformer Generation One mitten steel box, which I had pieces in there and like nice this family room display, but after getting divorced and everything and like it's just not a priority for it wasn't a priority for me, and now having, my new fiance and, I'm gonna be a stepfather, my life priorities have just changed. We need the room in the house for things that are not so cumbersome, and I can't see boxing up all my Transformer collectibles once again and putting them all in the attic. For what? For what? So I've actually been going through if you go on my eBay, you'll see a lot more of my Transformers being listed. I'm starting to list a lot of my convention exclusive pieces, stuff that I swore to God I would never get rid of. But I'm looking at it with new glasses and new eyes now. Like number one, I could put the money into Pokemon. I could put the money into Pokemon.
Yeah.
Um, number two, like it's big. The Transformers take up a lot of freaking room because
Yeah.
my stuff's in boxes. So I have boxes of boxes, and it's like I don't have the room. No one has the room for this stuff. Um, so there's a certain point, and I think this goes into a lot of like my childhood. I um I filled a lot of emotional void with materialistic things. I collected. Um, I could get into this a little bit more than I'm probably going into, but for certain reasons, I filled emotional voids with materialistic things that I am now coming to realize that I don't need those things anymore. And it was it's going to work out in my favor in the end, because at least the things that I did collect um tended to go up in value, obviously, especially with Pokemon. But it definitely verged on the hoarder mentality. Like, I have a lot of collections. I still have my childhood rock collection, coin collection, um, stuff I used to get from the Smithsonian Institute. Like, I had a GI Joe figure collection. I had a lot of different collections, and I
Yep.
still have a lot of that in the attic. Um, some of that's gone up in value. I luck like I'm there's never a hoarder in the sense that, like, I hoarded bullshit that had no value. But I definitely had a completist mentality. I had to have it all. Like, if I started collecting something, I had to have one of everything. I had to get it. I had to
Yeah.
complete the collection. And
Yep.
a lot of times, to like, almost to a detriment. Like, my ex-wife was telling me, like, you need to stop buying Transformers. We don't have the space. And I was like, but honey, I need one of everything. Like, I have to have it. I've started this collection, and she doesn't understand. We understand with collectibles. A lot of times, if you don't buy it then and there, it's going to go up in value, and you're not going to get it. So it's like, if I
Sure.
don't get it, this is the cheapest. This is the floor. If I don't get it at the floor, I'm going to be paying, because in my mind, someday I'm going to complete this collection. I'm going to have one of everything. But
Yeah.
now I realize that's stupid, especially with Transformers. You're never going to have one of. You don't have the freaking room. Nobody's going to have the room for that shit.
That's a big house.
It's a big house. And even if you did have it and you had it all displayed out correctly, what if your significant other doesn't want that? You have to take that into
Yeah.
consideration. Like, that's a lot of sacrifice on her part to give up the entire family room to some shit she doesn't even like. So, um, I have now matured enough in my outlook on life to be able to. I'm emotionally in a spot where I can part with these transformer items and not feel that pain of letting the things go. I don't look at them as the same as I used to. And a lot of that, I think a lot of us in this hobby, this might be good. I'd actually really be interested to hear Jake's opinion on this, him being a therapist and all. But I think it's healthy for a lot of us to take a good step back from our collectibles and really analyze um why we have these things. And if you are so attached to something that you can't let it go, even for the right price, you really should really dive into the feeling behind that and why. I have
Yep.
a few. So, like, this is a common thing that, like, the YouTubers like to ask, like, what's the two things in your collection you would never sell for any particular amount of money? I have those things. They're not what you would think they are. They're things that are very personal to me, and they're not really worth anything to begin with. They're small items that are have intrinsic value that I'd say $1 million, but nobody's going to pay $1 million because it's not even worth a dollar. You know what I mean? Like, I find it odd, the people that have something that's
Yeah.
extremely
Yep.
valuable. There's a little bit of lag. There's a little bit of delay on our call. So I apologize if I'm talking too much, but
No, you're good.
it's it's freezing up a little bit, so I don't always see you. You freeze every few minutes. So um, cut me off if you need to. I find it odd when I hear people that have, like, for instance, a box of Skyridge that could be worth $55,000, but they're like, well, I'll never sell that. Bro, why? It's worth $55,000. Do you know what you could do with that money? Like, you could tour the world. You could have so many more life experiences. Like, I think that people that have very valuable things that refuse to get rid of them for emotional reasons, I think that's unhealthy. And I think that those people should talk to somebody about that, because there might be an underlying, because there was with me. There definitely was with me. You couldn't tell me. I wouldn't care how much those Transformers were worth. I wasn't selling them. They meant more to me, and I'm like, screw you. I ain't selling them. And that's not healthy. That's verging on hoarder mentality. That's not healthy.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that if anybody out there has that, um, and they're not willing to part with stuff, they're not looking at their collectibles as a way to enhance their life. Um, you shouldn't get more joy out of a physical object than you do a person or a life experience. And that's one thing that took me a long time to learn. Um, if I had to throw all my stuff in a fire to save my fiance's life, I would instantly. None of it means that much to me. Like, and
Yep.
I was not always that way. I was not always that way. But I realized what inside of me, I figured out where that came from, and I figured out what I needed to change in my life to change that viewpoint. So yeah, I don't know how we got on this tangent, but
Just
I
asking
just
about your how you could lose your cards, or if you were almost
right,
lost your card.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there have been a few times I have almost, and
Yeah.
I would have I'm very glad it's very happenstance that I still have them, to be quite honest. Yeah.
Yeah. If you seen Jake from Pokenomics video on addiction,
No. No. I'll check that out.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
yeah, he did a whole video on it, and it was pretty good, man. It was hit home for me and a lot of people. Like you got collectibles. I got a box under my desk opened in a long time. Why not sell it? Like, and I did that at one point. Sold a portion of my collection and bought a Mustang last year because I'm gonna enjoy the shit out of it.
yeah.
So
What you get? What you get? What
the
Mustangs you get?
14 3.7 liter. Yeah,
Nice, nice. I personally
yeah.
want
It's
a
not. It's not. Go ahead.
I want a Hellcat. I've always wanted a Hellcat.
Honestly, like do it before you hit 40, man.
Dude, that's only 2 years for me. I don't know.
I
We'll
know.
see.
I know. You're 38, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You got
Um,
time. You got all
I
those
do.
cards coming.
I'll just say it on the channel. My first
That's
goal, and
good, man. That's
I think anyone's goal should be to pay off my goal is to pay off my house. I like how Jake goes into a lot of this about fiscal responsibility and making sure that you don't over leverage yourself and pay down your debt. SM Pratt lives like a recluse, almost like a minimalist, and I really like you get into the financial theory of like how Warren Buffett lives and how a lot of these minimalists live. That's inherently how I always have been. My fiance has to get up my ass about buying new underwear and socks because I don't spend money on shit that I don't need. Like I don't even buy like I my grocery bill is $60 a week. I live on the bare minimum. And I compete in strength sports. So go figure that one. I live on the bare minimum amount of food. I'll eat hot dogs and
yeah,
pork roll and eggs. Like that's my diet because I don't want to spend the money. It like I don't waste money on things that has no value.
yeah,
Like and I think that no, you're not wasting when you go out and you buy a car, yeah, you drive it off the lot and like it it's depreciating in value, but you have something physical for it. I don't personally spend money on stuff that you don't get any physical return for. So like I don't like going out to eat. I don't like it. You spend the money, it's there and gone and you're done. Um I think a lot of people in this day and age live above their means and don't know. I grew up poor. I grew up poor as shit. Um and my mom telling me we don't have the money for that was a common thing. So when you grow up a certain type of way, you learn certain type of habits. And like my grandmother was a depression child and I grew like my
yeah,
grandmother, yeah, and hearing the lessons they taught me, it translate. Like me and my ex got into a huge fight because she wanted to spend $2,000 on a bedroom set when we first moved into the house, and I'm like, but there's nothing wrong with the one we have. Like it works. Like it's functional. You can use it. You put clothes in the drawers. I don't understand why you need a different one. Like that's not my mindset. Like the mattress works. You sleep on it. Like
right.
check that off the
Yep.
box and move on. Like when it wears out, buy another one, but it's not worn out. Like I just don't buy shit because I want something new. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's not. But I don't think. I think a lot of people that have that mentality tend to do better in the hobby. Like they don't over leverage themselves on credit cards, buying mundane bullshit they don't need. You know, $200 pairs of jeans and clothes and shit that you don't need. You know, like, yeah.
Got to be smart, man. Got to be smart with money. That's huge. I do it every day. It's you gotta weigh your balances and know now don't overspend and don't over leverage yourself on credit cards, and
Oh yeah.
it's the game. Yep. So
I've
you
never owned.
so I
I've never owned a credit card in my life.
really
Never owned one.
it's awesome, man.
My mom. I grew up in a time period when they were hard to get. They were really hard to get. They didn't just give them to everyone. And the only time I ever needed one and wish I had one, I didn't, was when I went to rent a car. When I needed to rent a car once, and it was a big pain in the ass to rent one without a credit card. I remember handing over my bank account, like my bank credit card, my checking card, right at the counter, and I told the girl, I was like, "Listen, you can charge the car to this freaking car. I have as much in my checking account as your car's worth. I need this to get to work. Just give me the damn car." Like, they're like, "Well, no, we need a visa. We need 3 bills and your cat's birth certificate and like your space shuttle ticket to the moon." Like, it was like, Jesus Christ, I just want to get to work. Like,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Though I would personally, I'd recommend getting one just for like the grading submissions, like to pay it on a card, pay it off within a week. You get so many points, and you
you
get
get
like
2%.
2% off, and
I heard
or
I
three
heard
percent, depending
I
on
heard
what
the
card you
video
get. But
I heard the video Dan did about that where he was talking about it. And I was like, that's pretty savvy, actually. That's something I need
yeah,
to look into. You're not
yeah,
wrong. I was thinking about that for the last couple of weeks. Yep, I might get a city card for the 2% cash back and the rewards, and you get all sorts of vacation vouchers and also. Yeah, you're right. You are right
this
with
free
that.
travel's huge. Like I get free flights almost probably forever for a while. So I got so many points racked up for credit cards that you just pay it off within a week or whatever before the month. We usually I do it every week. We free money.
Yeah, you're right.
So I highly
Yeah,
recommend it.
that's something I'm gonna look into. I got a lot of things to look into coming away from this video.
Yeah. Definitely want you to plug your uh whatnot again, man. Just to, like the
Oh
name of
yeah.
it, where it's at, obviously where,
Oh yeah, that'd
but
be cool.
probably wrap it up.
Okay. Yeah, so if anyone wants to, I'd appreciate a follow. Just come in. You can just come in the stream and hang out. It's Echobase on Whatnot. It's just Echobase. Everywhere else, it's Echobase Collectables. Instagram, obviously YouTube. I have a website, echobasecollectibles.com. Um, what did I say? Instagram. Yeah, that's it. I don't have a Twitch. I don't have a Twitter. I don't have any of that crap. Um, yeah, but yeah, Echo Base on Whatnot. Come in, join the streams, talk. Chat's always fun. If you just want to talk and chat, that'd be fun. It's always more engaging. I like that. It's a good time.
So why not God Pokemon? Why Echo Base?
Did you watch a video? Did you?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Quick story. Quick story. So taking it back to the Poke Gym with pre era of everything, and my handle on the Poke Gym was God Trainer. Um, Hang on. I'll actually show you. So I have this playmat that I use in all my videos. A lady
Yep.
on the Poke Gym made this for me, and if you actually look, it says God Trainer. Um, the theory behind that was back in Red and Blue. There was the rumor that if you beat the Elite Four 99 times, you accessed a secret area which had God Pokemon in it, which were like super powerful versions of like I guess like VMAXs would be like today. And when I was choosing a
Yep.
handle, I was like, oh, well, what if I was like a trainer and I trained all of the God Pokemon? So that's why I chose God Trainer. My original eBay store that I had since forever and a day was Echo Base, though. And now Echo Base is a Star Wars reference. Um,
Okay.
on Planet Hoth, the name of the Rebel base was Echo Base, and I'm a huge Star Wars nerd too. So my little logo was the little ion cannon from Hoth, and like because I used to sell primarily Star Wars and Transformers on my eBay. So when I was trying to think of like a brand to start my YouTube channel, my ex-wife was like, "You might not want to use God Trainer because it could have negative connotations to it with religion and stuff." And I was like, you're probably right. Nobody's gonna know what the hell I mean anyway. So
Right.
I was like, well, let me just roll with the whole eBay thing then. So I just branded that. I just took Echobase Collectables and just went all through with that. But I kept my playmat. So you like to use Torterra because Torterra is my favorite Pokemon.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Followed by Aggron. Aggron's my second favorite. Um,
Strong.
yeah, I like this type of Pokemon. Like just the stronger, like bigger, like I wouldn't say aggressive, but just like bigger, beefier type of Pokemon. They've always been my favorite. I like Tyranitar, I like Metagross, I like Feraligatr, I like Ursaring. Um like
Boss monsters.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's why it's Echo based collectibles and not God Trainer.
That was a good call. Good call for sure.
Yeah,
It would have been funny though. It would have been
it
a lot
would
of
have been.
people asking questions like, "This ain't
What?
a channel about Jesus. Where am I at?"
I know, I know. But I identified so
That's good
hard
though.
with that because everyone on the Pokegym boards knew me as God Trainer. Like, I was
Yeah.
very active in the community, and that was my handle. Like, people that I went to Worlds with knew me as God Trainer. Like, so it was
Yep.
very hard for me when I was restarting out to not wanna go that route because I was like, "Dude, that's my identity." Like, that's who like, if anyone remembers me, that's what they're gonna remember me from. Like,
Yep.
but she was like, "No, I would really that's not a good call." She was right.
Well, man, I've definitely been enjoying your YouTube. I enjoy like the vlog style. You're the first other person I've ever seen do the in car videos, and I enjoy the vlog style videos. I've come from watching a bunch of car people, and it's more personal. I like knowing the people more. I don't like the pack opening channels because you don't know them.
Right.
Uh I I would like to know Pokerev, and like he's one of the better ones because he posts about his family and stuff on Instagram, and um he's a little bit more personable on his channel. And but there's a lot, like, I don't know much about Leonhardt, and he's probably one of the first ones I started following, and it's just not too relatable as a person. I like the vlognet type of style, and which is kind of why I started mine, and yours is very the same, similar.
Yeah.
So
I follow a lot of strongmen, like fitness channels and strongman channels, and that's all they do is vlogs. So one of the ideas I have that I'm gonna roll into as soon as league and stuff, I'm gonna vlog league. I'm gonna go to league. I'm gonna film. I'm gonna take everyone along. I'm gonna go in a league with
yeah,
everyone. I'm gonna film all my matches. I'm gonna show like all the people that like my people in my area. If I go to like a tournament, I'm gonna take a camera. I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna vlog it. Like nobody
that'd be
nobody
cool.
does that.
Yeah, that'd be sweet, man. Looking back on your games too, and just getting knowledge, and looking at all the trades you ripped off little kids, and that'd be funny. But
Dude, I've probably given away more cards to kids I've probably given more than I've received on the trade end of stuff. I've always been like a sucker when it comes to in-person trades. Like people could be like, "Oh, I really want that card." I'd be like, all right, just give me something for it. I don't know, whatever." It's like for
awesome.
instance, on my
But
whatnot, right? The guys are like calling out cards they want to see. The one dude was like, "Yo, I see. Like, do you have a Dragons Charizard from EX Dragons?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And he's like, "Throw it up. Go on, throw it up." And I was like, "All right, I'll throw it up." I was like, "All right, whatever. You talked me into it."
well, if I'm
uh,
there tomorrow 5 a.m., I can just start requesting cards out of your binder.
dude, you wouldn't be the first, and you wouldn't be the first to get it to come out either, too. Like I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to that. Like for instance, today I had
Uh,
the Pop Series 5, the Espeon and Umbreon that I have. I had them as like background, just like something to throw in the background of the video, and people kept trying to get me to throw those up for auction. I was like, listen, those aren't going up. Like those are going to PSA. Like those are not going up. But people try. They're like, yo, throw that card up, man.
Hell yeah. What are your normal stream times again? It's early and
Oh,
late?
so I stream pretty consistently. Friday morning, 6 a.m. Saturday morning, 7 a.m. And then randomly throughout the week, sometimes I will jump on my lunch break at work. So sometimes I'll jump on doing singles. I usually do so Friday and Saturday is usually breaks, box breaks, and then I'll do singles throughout the week around like sometime between 10 and 11. I'll hop on AM usually
Uh,
randomly.
Can you can you link a whatnot in a YouTube description?
Oh yeah,
You
yeah. I have
can,
a
because I
URL.
remember I tried doing it on Instagram. Like you were posted, you were going to go live recently. I tried sharing it and sharing the link, but it said it's not a good link. So
Oh
I don't know. It's pretty weird. Maybe
yeah,
it's
you
just the
can do it.
Instagram things. They always got hard on for weird stuff. But
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. I'm going to link it all down below and I'll send you a copy of the video. We're at 2 hours and 20 minutes, which is more than double the length I did with a bunch of people. So it's been really good getting to know you, Joe. And
you
hopefully you
too.
had a good time. Definitely hopefully get to
Absolutely.
meet you at a Collecticon or at at Indy.
That would be awesome, man. That would be awesome. Maybe we could do like a round table with some more people. So at some time, like a 4-person round table. That'd be fun too.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Cool. I
I'll whoop you
appreciate
in
you
some
having me on.
modern and yeah, yeah. Not a problem, man. I'll talk to you soon though, all right?
Oh, you too. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Get some sleep. You got a few hours here.
Yeah, it's the grind, right?
Yeah, exactly. Talk to you later, man.
Talk to you later. Have a good night.